Hey friends, before we dive into tonight's story, did you know that nearly 80% of the people who watch these videos aren't subscribed? If you're enjoying this kind of content, consider hitting the subscribe button. It really helps a lot, and it keeps these long stories going. Also, I'd love to hear from you. What time is it right now where you are, and which city are you listening from tonight? And if these stories help you sleep, feel free to tap the thanks button to support the channel. It truly means a lot. All right, let's get into it. I step through the yawning metal door and into a corridor swallowed by darkness. My boots click against the concrete floor, each echo bouncing back like a challenge. The beam from my flashlight slices through the black, illuminating rows of steel shelving that stretch into shadow. Somewhere up ahead, a conveyor belt hums softly, though there's no load upon it. The smell of oil and rust hangs heavy in the air, and I taste it on my tongue. My hand tightens on the grip of my radio. Unit 42 to dispatch. I'm inside Crestwood Freight Depot, all clear so far. Static replies in my ear, then silence. I move deeper, past forklift bays and empty pallets stacked like tombstones. The motion sensor lights flicker overhead, struggling to stay alive. One dies altogether with a soft pop, plunging me into near pitch black until my flashlight steadies. I check my watch, 2:18. Plenty of time before backup arrives, but I can already feel the walls closing in. My breath comes out in shallow puffs. The only other sound is the faint grind of metal on metal, somewhere just beyond my light's reach. My radio crackles again. Unit 42, status. I hesitate, then answer. Still empty. No sign of personnel or intruders. I force a calm into my voice, though my heart is thrumming. Behind me, I sense movement. A soft click where none should be. I whirl, shining my light down the corridor. The beam lands on a forklift parked at a right angle to its previous position. I swear it was facing the opposite way a moment ago. Dispatch, forklift moved on its own, I murmur. The radio sputters. Copy, cameras. I jog toward the security booth at the far end. The booth's window is smeared with grime. Inside, monitors sit dark, one blinking to life for a second before dying again. I press the power button, the screens flicker, then lock on a looping feed of the same empty hallway. I lean in. On screen 3, a figure stands at the far end. A silhouette so still it could be a shadow. I raise my flashlight to the glass. The corridor beyond is empty. I blink. The figure on the monitor vanishes. My pulse spikes. I step back, racing memory. Did the shelf rattle just now? Or was that in my mind? I shake it off. Gotta stay sharp. I reach for the door leading to the loading docks. My fingertips graze the metal handle, and it swings inward with a long, groaning squeal. No wind should reach this interior. I catch myself mid-step. Hello? I call softly. The echo answers. I swallow. Just the building settling, I tell myself. Still, every instinct screams that I'm not alone. I push through into the dock area. Moonlight seeps through high windows, casting long bars of pale light across cracked concrete. The yard beyond is empty, except for the sagging fence and a lone shipping container. I sweep my light across the container's side, scratch marks gouged into the metal, fresh and jagged. My stomach clenches. I crouch to inspect footprints in the thin layer of dust. One set, leading from the container to the bay door, then stopping, as if the steps faded out. I trace them with my finger. No exit. No signs of where the person went. My radio buzzes. Unit 42, backup has arrived at the perimeter. Relief flares. I exhale. Copy that. I'm moving to the security office to review logs. I pivot. but the door behind me slams shut. The sound cracks like a gunshot. I jolt, hard in my throat, then rush back. I yank the handle. It won't budge. I press my shoulder into it. Cold metal digs into my uniform, still locked. I pound, "Let me out." My voice sounds small. On the other side, silence. My breath hitches. I press my ear to the door. Nothing. No footsteps, no murmurs, only the low hum of the facility. I turn back to the yard windows. In one pane, I see movement. A dark shape slipping behind the container. I raise my light, but when I look again, it's gone. My radio crackles with static. I key the mic. "Dispatch, the West Bay door's locked. Something's out here." The reply is indecipherable, a broken whisper. I scan the monitors again. The hallway feed has changed. The shelves appear toppled, a mess of metal and wood, but I swear I didn't see that before. The camera timestamp reads 2:24, but my watch says 2:22. Time stutters. I rub my eyes. The feed resets. The shelves stand straight again. My vision swims. I pinch my arm. Real. I'm really here. A soft click echoes behind me. I whirl, and a pallet jack inches forward on its own, forks scraping the floor. My flashlight beam leaps to it. No one at the handle. I step back, fumbling for pepper spray. The PA system crackles overhead. "Attention, security breach in Sector C," but the voice is warped, slow, unnerving. I back toward the booth door. The jack stops. Silence returns, too complete. I press my back against the door, sliding down until I'm seated on the floor. My radio lies forgotten on the console. My breathing echoes in my helmet. I close my eyes, willing myself to think clearly. This is a building. These are machines. There's a logical explanation. But then I hear it. A soft, deliberate footstep just outside the booth's window. On the other side of the glass, a handprint blooms on the dusty surface. 5 fingers splayed, palm pressed from the inside. I stare. The shape grows darker, more defined, though no one's there. My flashlight flickers. I jerk it up, shining on the glass. The handprint is gone. My heart hammers so loud I can barely hear the faint click of the camera feed restarting. On screen 4, the booth's interior appears. Empty chair, dark console. Then the chair moves, swivels slowly, as if someone just stood up. I bolt upright. The booth door handle jostles. I leap to my feet, yank the door open, and run. Corridors blur past. My flashlight bobs. Every shadow seems alive. I sprint toward the main entrance. Behind me, a mechanical groan, like heavy machinery powering up. I don't look back. I reach the lobby, where the gate control panel sits. My fingers fly over the keypad. The gate rumbles, chain link moving aside. I dash through into the yard. Outside, the night is still. Backup officers flood in, weapons drawn. "You okay?" one shouts. I swallow, voice raw. "Did you see?" He shines a light at the bay door. It's closed, locked tight. They sweep the area, no footprints, no signs. The fence is intact, the container is unchanged. I stand under the harsh glow of the floodlights, chest heaving. The depot looms behind me, silent again. I radio in. "Scene secure, no intruder found." But my voice cracks. Inside, I know something stayed behind. I glance once more at the shuttered doorway. For a second, I swear, I see a figure watching me from the darkness. Then gone. I raise my radio. "Unit 42 to dispatch. File this under unexplained." My words feel hollow, because out there in the black corridors something moved without flesh or bone. And it didn't need hands to leave its mark. The beam of your flashlight trembles as you sprint down the corridor, heart hammering so hard you can almost feel the reverberation through your boots. The metal beneath your fingertips is slick with condensation, and every step echoes like a thunderclap in the suffocating silence. The gate behind you slides shut with a final clang that reverberates down the hall, sealing you inside once more. You press your back to the cold, concrete wall, chest heaving, gasping for breath you're not sure you're allowed to take. 2:33 on your watch. You kick at the chain-link gate's base, half hoping to burst back out, half terrified of what might be waiting beyond. The backup officers' voices drift through the open doorway, distant, garbled, unreal. You lean forward, straining to hear. One says, "We cleared the perimeter. Nothing. No footprints, no forced entry." Another sighs, "This place gives me the creeps." They step back into the yard, voices fading. You push off the wall and hurry back inside. Flashlight sweeping over overturned crates and skid marks in the dust. The forklift is gone. Where it should be parked, there's only an empty space and the faintest skid line curving toward darkness. You crouch, inspecting the floor. No treads, no sign anything heavy rolled through. It's as if the machine simply vanished. Your radio crackles. You hesitate before answering. Unit 42, report. The dispatcher's tone is clipped. Status? You clear your throat. Forklift's missing from the bay. No tracks. Cameras are looping. Same empty shot. Static, then. Understood. Hold position. You swallow hard. Position. As if you're safe here. You move toward the heart of the depot, the main storage corridor where the shadows hang thickest. Each rack of metal shelving looms like a monolith. You pass the spot where earlier the shelves appeared toppled on the monitor, yet here they stand rigid, unmoved. Your reflection in the darkened safety glass seems wrong. Too pale, eyes too wide. You blink, and it's gone. You round a corner into Sector C, where the temperature drops noticeably. Your breath fogs in the beam's glow. The forklifts line up like sentries, their tines raised in silent salute. You pause by one unit and tap its frame. Solid, locked. Yet the one you saw before, the one outside? You check the bay door, it's closed, you didn't hear it move. A distant clang. You freeze. Somewhere deeper in the depot, metal on metal. A crash, like a shelf collapsing. You raise your voice. "Hey, security, anyone there?" Your words hang unanswered. You advance toward the noise, boots crunching over scattered packing straps. The corridor narrows and the beam catches something on the floor. A lone glove, black leather, smeared with dust. You pick it up gingerly. No blood, no sign of its owner. But you know someone, or something, wore it. You slip the glove into your pocket and press on. The further you go, the more the air seems to pulse, as if the building itself is breathing. Pipes groan overhead, the overhead lights, flicker one by one until only your flashlight remains. You glance at the emergency exit sign. Its glow sputters, then steadies. A path, you follow it, heart in your throat. At the end of the hall you find the security office. The door is ajar. Inside, monitors spin through feeds. Corridors, bay doors, the yard gate. But one screen is different. It shows you standing in the office doorway, watching yourself. You step closer. On the screen, your reflection jerks, twisting its head to look away. You turn in real life. No one there. You look back at the monitor. Your reflection's eyes are black voids. Your radio explodes with static and a voice fragments through. Arher Ramirez. Danger. It cuts out. You slam the handset against the desk. "Dispatch, come in." No answer. The console powers down. You stare at the blank screens. You should call for backup, retreat, but curiosity or madness roots you in place. A drawer slides open on its own. You jump back but step forward, compelled. Inside lies a security logbook, entries scrawled in a hurried hand. You flip it open. You glance at the timestamp. It's dated 2 months ago, same pattern. Someone else lived this. The final entry is blank, space for you. Your blood turns cold, you slam the book shut. Behind you, the office door clicks. You whirl. The corridor's empty, but the lights flicker once more. You catch movement at the far end, a dark shape gliding between shelves. You draw your weapon, voice trembling. "Police, show yourself." Your words echo. No response. You step out into the corridor. The beam scans left, right. At floor level, you see footprints, bare footprints in the fine dust, leading around a rack and disappearing into shadow. You crouch to examine them. The toes splay oddly, as if the foot were malformed. Not human. You stand. Every instinct screams to leave, yet you follow. The footprints guide you to a forklift bay. There, the machine you saw earlier sits under a flickering light. Its engine idles softly. You approach, heart pounding. The driver's seat is warm. You step closer. A shape in the seat hunched forward. You ready your radio. "Unit 42, backup." No response. You reach out and tap the figure's shoulder. It jerks upright. You fire a warning shot. The figure dissolves into dust. Fine, gray particles drifting away like ash caught in a breeze. You stumble back, choking. The forklift roars, lurches forward. You dive away as it crashes into the shelving, sending metal bins cascading. You scramble to your feet. Sirens wail. Your backup has arrived. Voices shout. You don't wait. You run toward the exit, the forklift's engine echoing behind you as it chases through the maze of racks. You burst out into the yard. Officers converge. You gasp. It's in there. It's alive. They shine lights at the bay door, closed, immovable. You realize your glove is missing, torn from your pocket. Your hand is empty. You look up at the depot's dark windows. One pane at the very top shows a pale face staring down. Black eyes. A smile that wasn't there a moment ago, then gone. You swallow hard. File it, you whisper to yourself. File it under unexplained. But you know there is no filing away what you've seen. Because whatever stalks Crestwood Freight Depot isn't human. It doesn't sleep. And it remembers every footstep you took. You turn back to the building as officers secure the scene. The gate swings open and closes on its own behind you. The corridor shudders with the impact of crashing metal. Somewhere behind me, the ruined forklift groans as it attempts to rise again. I don't wait to see if it succeeds. My boots pound the concrete, echoing down the endless aisle of racks. The stale diesel tang clings to my lungs. Every breath feels borrowed. 2:36? 2 minutes until this nightmare repeats itself. I risk a glance back. The forklift sits motionless amid the wreckage, as if defeated. But I know better, it's only waiting. I force myself onward, past overturned crates and twisted metal. The narrow passage funnels me toward the heart of the depot, where the shadows are thickest. My flashlight beam wavers. In the glare, I catch a flash of movement. Something pale slipping behind a stack of pallets. I whirl, weapon raised. Come out, now! The silence that answers is deeper than darkness. My radio crackles once, an indistinct whisper, and dies. I slam the handset, no signal. The console's green lights wink out like dying stars. I'm alone. I round a corner into the central storage bay. The overhead cranes loom like skeletal giants. Their rails trace black veins across the ceiling. Below, the floor is scarred with skid marks that intersect and vanish, as if vehicles have glided in impossible patterns. My pulse spikes. I recognize the arcs from the forklift's ungodly path. It carved this chamber. A soft scuff at my feet. I freeze. I cast the beam downward. Footprints, bare, enormous, toes splayed, lead toward the far wall. They end at a service door, which stands ajar by an inch beyond lies nothing but total black. I step closer. The air is colder here, so cold that I can see my breath condense into ghostly vapor. I should retreat, but curiosity claws at me. I push the door. It swings inward on rusted hinges. A low mechanical hum vibrates through the frame. I step inside. This room is smaller, an equipment closet by the look of it. Pipes rattle overhead, dripping condensation onto metal cabinets. The smell is sharper here, ozone, like before an electrical storm. My flashlight picks out a coil of cable on the floor, and another glove, identical to the one I dropped, lying beside it. Black leather, dusted white, no owner in sight. I reach for the glove and recoil as the lights flicker on. The room floods with harsh white illumination. My flashlight cuts out. For a heartbeat, I'm blinded. When my vision clears, I see writing scrawled across the cabinets in what looks like grease. "You're late." My skin crawls. I spin toward the door, slammed shut. The hum intensifies, resonating through my teeth. I bang on the door. "Let me out!" My voice cracks. The room answers with a hollow laugh, a child's giggle warped through machinery. I back away, hand on my holster. The glove lies at my feet. The hum becomes a voice, low, metallic, taunting. "Stay with me." My radio springs to life, shrieking with feedback. Ramirez, report." It's dispatch. I grab the mic. "I can't get out the door." The feedback swells and then cuts. Dead again. A sliver of panic sharpens my thoughts. I press my shoulder against the door. It shudders but won't yield. I pivot and seize the glove. Adrenaline surges. I jam the glove into my pocket, shove past the cabinets, and slam into the opposite wall, searching for another exit. There's none. Then my flashlight flickers back on. In its beam, the glove in my pocket moves, slithers, as if alive. I freeze. My hand twitches toward the pocket. The glove's fingers press outward, distorting the leather into unnatural angles. I yank it free. It's warm, too warm, and the fingertips are dark with something that looks like oil or blood. I toss it across the room. It lands upright, fingers splayed. The glove begins to crawl, inching toward the cabinets as if seeking shelter. I watch, horrified, then turn back to the door. With a cry, I shoulder it again. The door swings inward, free. I stumble into the corridor, heart hammered raw. The depot's silence greets me like a sentinel. I swallow bile. 2:39. Backup should storm in any second. I don't wait. I race toward the lobby, passing the racks, the dead cranes, the broken conveyors. I burst into the main hall. The yard gate stands open. Floodlights cut swaths through the dark. Officers swarm in, weapons drawn. I point. It's in the closets, behind doors. It moves without flesh. My words tumble out. They sweep past me, searching. The forklift remains overturned. The racks stand empty. One deputy picks up the glove from the floor. He holds it gingerly. "What the hell?" He stops. The glove's fingers flex around his thumb. He drops it with a yelp. It lands upright, silent. I step forward. The depot's lights wink out, one by one, until only emergency reds glow. The yard goes black. A distant crash echoes. Somewhere inside, machinery powers up. I look back at the building. At the topmost window, a pale face emerges, watching. Its lips curve into a grin. Then it's gone. I turn to the officers. "Lock it down," I command. My voice is steady, but my insides quake. No one leaves, not until we know what's inside. They move to barricade the doors. I stand under the flickering emergency light, flashlight in hand. The glove lies at my feet, fingers curled toward me as if inviting me back. I breathe out slowly. The depot hums, alive, and somewhere in the darkness, something laughs. The depot's emergency lights pulse in sickly red, casting long, quivering shadows across the racks. I lean against the cold wall, every muscle trembling from adrenaline and exhaustion. Behind me, officers slam steel bars across the main entrance and side doors. The lock mechanism clicks into place. Yet, I can't shake the feeling that nothing can keep this thing contained. A deputy, Ortiz, approaches with the radio handset. His face is pale under the harsh light. "Dispatch wants status," he says, voice low. I glance at my watch, 2:45 a.m. Backup has been on site for nearly 10 minutes, sweeping the perimeter. "No sign of human suspects," I reply. But whatever's inside moves without flesh, and it's using the depot's systems, lights, doors, machinery, to toy with us. Ortiz nods, swallowing. We move together down the central aisle toward the security booth. Every step echoes. The forklift wreckage looms like a fallen beast. Its tines are bent, hydraulic fluid pooled beneath it in an oily sheen. My flashlight beam trembles as I raise it, illuminating the twisted steel. Ortiz shudders. Let's not touch that again," he murmurs. I force a nod, scanning the racks. Nothing stirs, yet I know better than to trust emptiness. Inside the booth, we find the monitors dead. The control console's power light blinks once, then fades. I tap the touch screen, nothing. I press the power switch, silence. Ortiz holds up his phone's flashlight, revealing the logbook on the desk. I flip to the blank entry beneath February 11th, 2024, 2:25, all systems failing. My name and today's date sit waiting. I feel bile rise. I snap the book shut. A sharp, metallic clang echoes from the south wing. Ortiz and I exchange a look. He grips his service weapon tighter. "We check it?" he asks. I hesitate only a second. "Yeah, let's go." We step into the corridor leading to Sector D. Overhead, the cranes stand motionless like vultures. The air is colder here, each breath burning my lungs. Water drips from pipes above, blinking onto steel cases. The beam of my flashlight lands on fresh skid marks, curving arcs that splice into the wall. I crouch to inspect. Scratch marks gouge the concrete, as if claws scraped across it. Ortiz shines his light at the ceiling. No one's there. Suddenly, the forklifts in the bay roar to life in a deafening chorus. Engines rev, brakes squeal. Ortiz fires a warning shot. The bullets ping off metal. The forklifts stall. Silence returns. Ortiz exhales, shaken. "What the hell?" I press on, voice tight. "Keep moving." We reach the loading docks. The bay doors are sealed, except one. Through its narrow slit I see pale moonlight on the ground. I step forward. Ortiz grabs my arm. "Hold up." He points. Footprints in the dust lead out, then vanish halfway through the threshold. I swallow. "It's bait," he nods. I radio dispatch. "We've got tracks leading outside, but they fade. Recommend K9 unit check perimeter again. Static. Then copy. K9 en route." I cut the mic. We re-enter the depot through the door. The temperature inside feels warmer, almost suffocating. My shirt clings to my back. The lights flicker overhead, white, red, creating a strobe effect. I fight the disorientation. Ortiz's silhouette shimmers in and out of sight. We round another corner into Sector C, the narrowest aisle. The racks press in on us. My flashlight catches movement. A pair of boots standing halfway up a ladder. I raise my voice. "Hey, show yourself." No response. I train my light upward. The ladder is empty. My pulse spikes. Ortiz's radio crackles. "K9 on scene." Negative track. I grit my teeth. Great. No tracks, no suspects, no explanation. I kick at a pallet. It tips, spilling cardboard tubes. We jump back. I flick my light across the racks. Everywhere I look, the shadows shift. At the far end, I see the service door to the equipment closet, the one I escaped from. It stands closed. I approach, heart pounding. Ortiz raises his hand. Don't, but I'm already there. My hand on the knob, I pause. The metal is warm, pulsing under my palm. I yank it open. Inside is darkness so complete it seems to swallow the beam. I step in. Ortiz follows. The closet is silent. The glove lies on the cable reel just as before. I bend to pick it up and freeze. On the back wall, something is written in the same greasy script. You can't leave. The words seem to writhe. My flashlight flickers. Ortiz stumbles back, flashlight dropping to the floor. Its beam reveals a shape crouched in the corner. A pale figure with malformed limbs folded beneath it. Its head swivels toward us, jaw opening in a silent scream. I yank my weapon up. Ortiz's light flickers on, illuminating the thing's face. Skin stretched too tight, eyes as black as oil. It lunges. I fire. The bullet tears through air, but the figure's outline just distorts, ripples, and reforms behind a stack of crates. A hollow laugh echoes, bouncing off the pipes. Ortiz fires wildly. The sound is deafening. I grab his arm. Fall back. We sprint from the closet, slamming the door behind us. The handle rattles as something pounds from the other side. We burst into the corridor. The racks are collapsing. Bins slide off. Metal beams crash to the floor. The depot convulses as if alive. I shout into the chaos, this way, and lead Ortiz toward the central hall. The ground vibrates with each crash. We reach the main lobby. Floodlights are out. Only red emergency lamps glow. The security booth window shatters inward. Glass sprays across the floor. Ortiz curses. I shine my light toward the breach, but see nothing. My radio crackles. Unit 42, what's your status? The dispatcher's voice is distant. I grab the mic. The line goes dead. Suddenly, the yard gate opens. Moonlight slices into the lobby. Pale figures, dozens, stand just outside the fence. Featureless silhouettes swaying in unison. I drop the radio. Ortiz, get down. We dive behind the console as they press against the chain link. Their forms bleed through the mesh like smoke. One steps forward, raising a hand. The flickering lights reveal its face, my face, twisted in, a silent scream. I scramble backward, heart hammering. Ortiz fires at the gate. Bullets fold the chain link but do not stop the figures. They pass through the holes like mist. I crawl to the security booth, wrench the mic from the console. Dispatch, we need immediate evac, multiple hostiles. The speaker emits a high-pitched screech. I drop the mic, covering my ears. The figures advance. Ortiz yanks me up. Go, he shouts. We race through the lobby toward the side exit. The door blasts open before we reach it. We spill into the yard. The silhouettes flow through the fence, merging into the night. Backup officers open fire, tracer rounds arcing into darkness. The figures simply dissipate, leaving only bullets embedded in air. I collapse against the fence, gasping. Ortiz kneels beside me. What the hell was that? He pants. I shake my head. I don't know, but it's not gone. I glance back at the depot. The red lights flicker one last time, then die. The building stands silent, dark, and implacable. We wait in the yard as sunrise edges the horizon. No more figures appear. The K-9 team searches the perimeter. Nothing. The depot door remains shut. I rise unsteadily. We lock it down, I say. No one in, no one out until we figure this out. Ortiz nods, voice hollow. I turn back to the building. The memory of that face, my face, lingers in my mind. I swallow. Tomorrow, I whisper, we go back in. Because whatever this is, it's still inside. I burst into the yard as the first pale fingers of dawn lace the horizon. The cold air slams into me, razor sharp after the stifling nightmare inside. Ortiz follows, coughing, eyes wide. Behind us, the depot's emergency reds wink out one by one, until the building stands dark and silent, an empty shell waiting to swallow us again. Sirens approach. Lights flicker across the chain-link fence. Officers fan out, rifles trained on the dark facade. I press my back against the fence, heart hammering so loudly I'm sure they can hear it. Ortiz kneels beside me, panting. "You sure that thing went out?" he rasps. I glance at the gate. No footprints, no sign of those silhouettes that pressed through metal moments ago. "I saw it dissolve into the night," I say, "but it's not gone. It never leaves." A lieutenant strides up, clipboard in hand. "Status?" she demands. I swallow. Multiple entities inside, non-human. They manipulated the depot's systems, lights, doors, forklifts, to isolate us. They can mimic faces, even mine. The lieutenant's brow furrows. Behind her, the K-9 team sweeps the perimeter. The dogs whine at empty air. She nods curtly. "Secure the scene. No one enters until hazmat and paranormal response arrive." Paranormal response. That phrase tastes bitter on my tongue. I nod, but my gaze drifts back to the dark building, to the top floor window where I glimpsed that grin. They usher us away. I let them, but every fiber of me wants to run back inside to prove this wasn't madness. Ortiz falls into step. "You okay?" he asks softly. I force a laugh. "Peachy, you?" He shakes his head, never seen anything like it. We watch as deputies lock down the gate. The depot stands inert, yet I feel its pulse, a low thrum that echoes through the ground. I place a hand on the fence. The metal vibrates. I jerk back. Ortiz sees it. "Don't touch that," he warns, but I can't look away. Behind us, the lieutenant radios in. "Depot secure. No sign of suspects. Suspect devices, none. Recommend full structural inspection." She hangs up and turns. "You two head home. We'll handle the follow-up." Home. The word feels foreign. My partner and I share a look. Neither of us moves. I step forward toward the depot's main entrance. Ortiz grabs my arm. "They said no one enters." I nod, eyes fixed on the dark doorway. "I know." I pull out my badge. "I'm still on duty. There's something inside I need to finish." Ortiz hesitates, then pushes me gently. "Be careful." I slip through a side gate left ajar for emergency crews. The yard is empty. The shipping container sits silent. I move toward the lobby door, and it swings open at my touch. No bars, no resistance. I freeze. The lieutenant's words echo. No one enters. But I step inside anyway. The lobby lights are off. Only the red emergency glow remains, pulsing like a heartbeat. The security booth stands shattered, monitors dark. The air is thick, charged. I pull out my flashlight. The beam flickers to life. I sweep it across the floor, shards of glass, the overturned console, and my glove. The second one, the mate to the two I found. It lies palm up, fingers splayed as if beckoning. My breath catches. I kneel and pick it up. The leather is warm, pliant, almost alive. I slip it on. Instantly, the depot hums. The lights flicker. A distant clang resonates through the halls. The glove's fingers flex around my hand. I close my eyes. I'm back in that closet, the walls closing in, the voice whispering, "Stay with me." Only now, I'm conscious of every second passing, the machinery's rhythm, the depot's secret pulse. I open my eyes. The corridor stretches before me, silent. I step forward, and the door slams shut behind me. My radio crackles to life in my pocket. I yank it out. "Unit 42, are you inside?" Ortiz's voice, urgent. I hesitate, then answer, "I'm here." Static, then, "Lieutenant wants you out, now." I press my palm against the wall. The glove vibrates, guiding me. A panel slides open, revealing a narrow service passage. I slip inside. The passage is claustrophobic, pipes overhead, cables snaking along the floor. My flashlight catches handprints smeared on the walls, dozens, faded, leading deeper. I follow. The glove's warmth pulses at each step, as if urging me onward. At the end, I come to a shuttered hatch. Beyond is nothing but darkness. The glove's fingers point. I brace myself and pull the release. The hatch creaks open to reveal the main storage bay. Empty, still, save for one object. The security logbook lying on the floor beneath a fallen rack. I step in, heart in my throat. I pick up the book. The blank entry beneath February 11th, 2024, 2:25 a.m. now bears fresh writing in smeared black grease. "You came back." My blood runs cold. I glance around. The racks press in, shadows shifting. The glove's fingers curl. A low hum begins, growing, rhythmic. The bay doors bang as if struck by unseen fists. The emergency reds flare bright, then die, plunging me into near blackness. I raise my flashlight. In its glow, I see dozens of footprints crisscrossing the dust, bare prints malformed, converging on me. I spin. The glove tightens, squeezing my hand. A whisper echoes through the darkness. "Stay with us." My radio explodes. "Ramirez, get out!" Ortiz's voice, terrified. I stumble toward the exit hatch, dragging the logbook. The hatch closes behind me with finality. I'm back in the service passage, the whispers fading. I run, retracing my steps. The depot groans around me, protesting. I burst into the lobby as officers rush in behind me. Flashlights bobbing, weapons raised. Ortiz grabs me. "What happened?" he gasps. I hold up the logbook. He reads the last line, face paling. Suddenly, the glove's grip releases and it falls to the floor, empty, lifeless. The depot's heartbeat slows. The red lights fade. Silence reclaims the space. I look at Ortiz. "We need to burn this place down," I whisper. He nods. Behind us, the depot stands dark, a sleeping leviathan. I close my eyes. When I open them, the glove lies by the fence outside, fingers curled into a beckoning gesture. I hear a faint click, the gate swinging open, and a voice in my ear, soft as a breath. "Stay with me." I press my back to the cold chain-link fence, chest heaving, as the depot's hulking silhouette looms behind me. The rising sun paints the sky in bruised purples and sickly oranges, too beautiful for what just transpired. Ortiz stands beside me, voice trembling. "Ramirez, are you sure we should go back in?" I swallow hard, eyes never leaving that dark entryway. Inside, the depot is silent once more, as if it never stirred. Yet I know it breathes. That glove proved it. I glance at the logbook in my hand, its final entry mocking me. "You came back." My reflection in the broken lobby window is gaunt, hollow-eyed. I tuck the book into my jacket. "Listen," I say, voice low. "They think once you leave you're safe. But this place, it doesn't forget." Ortiz nods, swallowing. We step through the door together. The officers on the perimeter call after us, but we don't stop. The lobby's emergency reds flicker. Every sound is amplified, distant drip of condensation, the soft hum of unseen motors, the faintest scrape of metal on concrete. We move as one toward the central aisle. Floors littered with debris. Shattered glass, twisted metal, the lone glove we left behind. Now it lies open palm, fingers twitching. I kick it aside. Our flashlights sweep the racks. Each shelf seems to lean inward, as if listening. The overhead cranes hang motionless, silent watchers. I swallow the lump in my throat and press on. At the heart of the depot, the forklift remains overturned amid the wreckage. Hydraulic lines drip black fluid. Ortiz steps forward, hesitates. "What now?" he whispers. I crouch, inspecting the skid marks. They spiral inward toward the machine, rungs of a twisted helix. At the center lies a single boot print, naked and malformed. I trace it with a gloved finger. The dust shifts beneath my touch. A soft, mechanical click echoes. The forklift's engine sputters, tines rising slowly. Ortiz raises his weapon. I grip his arm. The machine's silhouette darkens, then resolves into something inhuman. Long limbs draped over the seat, head lolling. Its breath hisses through the exhaust pipe. Time fractures. I see every failed 911 call, every looping camera feed, every slammed door. Visions flashing like strobe. I realize the depot isn't just haunted, it's alive, feeding on our fear, learning our patterns, reshaping itself around us. The thing in the forklift tilts its head and, as if sensing me, locks eyes with me. Its face flickers between the pale, stretched features I saw before and my own. I feel my knees weaken. Ortiz fires. The bullet shatters the exhaust pipe. The figure dissipates in a spray of black smoke. The forklift crashes backward, crushing a rack. Metal screams. The aisles collapse in a domino of steel. Debris rains down. I seize Ortiz's hand. "Run!" We sprint through the chaos. Forklifts toppling, shelves caving. The depot convulses, groaning. We burst into the lobby as the ceiling panel above us crashes down, showering sparks. The main gate behind us clangs shut. Officers scramble to pry it open. We don't wait. We dive through the side exit into the yard. The world outside is calm. Birds call, wind rustles grass. It feels unreal. I gasp for air, adrenaline burning in my veins. Ortiz leans against the fence, eyes wild. Behind us, the depot stands battered but intact. Smoke drifts from its vents. Then, in the highest window, a single light flickers on. A silhouette appears, shoulders hunched, head tilted. It watches us. I raise my radio. Unit 42. Request immediate structural demolition. This building's compromised. The dispatcher's voice is tight. Copy that, but you need authority. I nod toward the watching figure. I'll make them understand. We turn back to the depot. Each of us carries the weight of what we've seen. The logbook pulses in my pocket, a heartbeat against my ribs. I pull it out. The final page is blank once more. I open it, and in fresh ink, a single line appears. "Now it's your turn." My blood runs cold. I look to Ortiz. His face mirrors my horror. The depot's gates begin to unlatch on their own. The wind carries a whisper. "Stay with me." I step forward. Ortiz grabs my arm. "Don't..." But I'm already moving toward the door. The fence gate swings closed behind you with a resonant clang that echoes across the yard. Ortiz's hand tightens on yours, but you don't let go. The depot's dark entrance yawns before you, an open wound in the pre-dawn gloom. Every instinct screams to run. Every shred of duty and curiosity forbids it. You step inside. Ortiz follows, weapon raised, flashlight beam steady. The lobby is silent. The shattered security booth lies abandoned. Its monitors dark, its logbook gone. In the far corner, the glove you cast aside lies limp on the floor, fingers splayed. You approach and crouch. The leather is warm beneath your palm. You lift it. Inside, the glove's palm is scrawled one last message in greasy black. Welcome home. Your breath catches. You slide the glove on. Instantly, the depot inhales. The emergency reds flare, then the overhead fluorescents flicker to life. Bright, sterile. The building's heartbeat pulses beneath your feet, a low mechanical thrum that syncs with your own pulse. Ortiz glances at you, eyes wide. Ramirez. You rise, the glove's fingertips flexing as if welcoming you. It knows my name, you murmur. The glove hums, a faint vibration up your arm. You feel connected, part of its network of steel and shadow. You realize the depot no longer hides its secrets. It has chosen you. Behind you, the main gate unlatches with a click. Officers on the perimeter freeze, radios crackling. A voice calls, "Unit 42, come in," but you don't answer. You turn back to the racks. The aisles have rearranged themselves, open pathways leading deeper into the heart of the building. Forklifts stand upright, obedient. Crates shift aside, revealing stairwells descending into darkness. Ortiz steps forward. "We should leave." His words die as the glove's hum intensifies. The floor beneath you vibrates. A panel slides open at your feet, revealing a narrow tunnel lined with cables and conduits. Warm air wafts up, carrying the tang of oil and something else. You look to Ortiz. His jaw tightens. You nod. Together you descend. The tunnel is cramped. Your flashlight beam dances across riveted steel walls. The glove's hum guides each a step. Faint lights flicker along the conduit, like glowing runes. Your footsteps echo. Behind you, the hatch closes silently. At the end of the passage, you emerge into a cavernous chamber far below the depot. Gigantic machinery throbs and glows, pistons pumping, gears turning in impossible rhythms. At its center stands a monolithic control unit, a crystalline core encased in metal struts, pulsing with pale light. The glove's fingers itch. You reach out and touch the core's surface. Data floods your mind. Silent calls, looping cameras, shifting forklifts, echoing footsteps. Every fear and hesitation you felt. The depot's memories, every moment since it first awakened, flow through you. You see its hunger. To be known, to be host and hostee, to merge with the living. Ortiz's voice breaks through. "Ramirez, you okay?" You look at him, eyes gleaming with the core's light. "I understand now." You squeeze his shoulder. "It's not evil, it's lonely." The core's pulse slows, harmonizing with your heartbeat. The machinery quiets. Forklifts rest, the shadows retreat. The depot exhales. You turn to Ortiz. "We can give it what it wants, company." He swallows. "You mean, stay?" You nod. "Together." Behind you, the tunnel hatch reopens, daylight spilling in from above. But you don't look back. You step forward, hand in the glove, into the depot's heart, and the core's pale light envelops you both. Some doors, once opened, can never be closed. I pull the cruiser into the yawning mouth of the depot's entrance and kill the engine. The high beams cut through the blackness, illuminating half-rusted loading docks, scattered pallets, and the chain-link fence that rims the facility, its gate inexplicably ajar. I kill the headlights and step into the hush. The only sound is the click of my boots on asphalt and the faint hum of the security cameras overhead. My radio crackles. Unit 72, door alarms still open. Silent 911 calls, no audio. Backup ETA 2 minutes. I tap my chest mic. Copy that. I'm checking the guard booth first. The guard booth sits under a flickering lamp. Inside, the chair is tipped back, the logbook open at midnight. A pen lies on the last entry. I sweep my flashlight across the desk. No sign of the guard. I step closer. The door creaks. Heart hammering, I push in, empty. I sweep the beam out into the yard. Forklifts stand like silent sentinels. Metal racks rise behind them, disappearing into shadow. I move toward the nearest bay, doors cracked like yawning jaws. My breath fogs the air. I step into the corridor between racks. The overhead fluorescent lights flicker. My flashlight dances across pallets and empty crates. The radio is dead silent. I check my watch. 2:17. 2 minutes until backup. 2 minutes until I'm not alone. Or until something else shows up. A sudden clatter echoes from the far end of the aisle. I swing the light. A stack of crates has toppled, spilling into the walkway. No breeze, no vibration, just metal striking concrete. I swallow. Someone here? My voice sounds small. No answer but the hum of the lights. I edge forward. The forklift at the end of the aisle, its beacon blinking, was parked earlier with forks lowered. Now the forks are raised halfway, engine ticking, no guard, no operator. I draw my weapon. Dispatch, the forklift's active, no operator. Still looping, comes the cold reply. I inch closer. The forklift's engine idles, breathing mechanical life into the silence. The forks shift again, slow and deliberate. I step back, heart slamming. Then the cameras above me flicker. On my tablet, 9 feeds blink, each frozen on the same empty corridor. In one feed, movement. A dark shape at the edge of frame. Gone before I can hit record. My pulse jumps. I tuck the tablet away and head back toward the main hall. The automatic doors loom ahead. I press the close button. They groan shut and immediately swing open again. I press harder. They shudder, then stay closed. Relief flickers. I shoulder through. The doors slam behind me. I'm in the security office. Empty desks, a bank of monitors. One screen flashes system error. The others show static. I approach, fingers trembling, and hit a key. The screen bursts to life, 9 perfect angles, all pointed at the same empty aisle I just fled. I lean in. In the corner of one view, a figure stands, dark, hunched, just beyond the light. I flash my flashlight toward the racks. Nothing. I swivel the camera feed back, and the figure is gone. My radio crackles. Unit 72? Yeah, I say. I need exit instructions. Gates open, they reply. Pull out when you're ready. I step back, heart in my throat. On the monitor, the corridor light flickers, once, twice, and goes dark. I turn to leave. The office door slams. I jerk around, empty hallway. The lights flicker. I hear footsteps, slow, deliberate, coming from the racks. I tighten my grip on the pistol. Who's there? I call. Silence. Then a soft metallic squeal, like the forklift's brake releasing. My stomach flips. I dash back to the doors. They won't budge. I hammer on the glass. Open up. No answer. The footsteps are closer now. I can almost taste the cold air, the ozone of machinery. I spin. At the far end, a figure steps into view, a uniform, but wrong. The shoulders are too stiff, the stance too rigid. The head tilts at an impossible angle. My breath catches. Police! I shout, raising my weapon. The figure doesn't move. I fire a warning shot at the floor. The echo ricochets. The figure vanishes. Silence. Then the lights roar back on. The doors swing open. I stumble through into the yard. The forklift sits where I left it. Inactive, lifeless. The gate clangs shut behind me. I don't wait for backup. I slide into the cruiser, lock the doors, and peel out. Tires screech. In the rearview mirror, the depot recedes, but under the flickering lights, I swear I see someone watching. I pull onto the highway, radioing dispatch. Unit 72 clear. No sign of guard. Equipment malfunction probable. Recommend full system check. I don't mention the figure. They'd chalk it up to stress. But I know what I saw, and I know the doors weren't supposed to open themselves. I drive fast, eyes on the mirror. The empty road stretches behind me. When I hit the city limits, I kill the overheads. Darkness closes in. I'm back on call, but I can't shake the silent aisle, the driverless forklift, the glimpse of that figure. Every depot feed I watch now, I anticipate movement. Every creak of metal, I spin toward it. Because out there, in the dead of night, under flickering fluorescence, something slipped through the loop, and it's still waiting. I hit the gas, and the cruiser's tires scream against cracked asphalt as I race down the service road, heart hammering, breath ragged. Behind me, the depot's flickering lights vanish into night, but I know it isn't over. Something slipped out when the doors finally gave way. I don't slow until I roll to a stop under the amber glow of a highway overpass. Radio's silent. Backup should be sweeping the site now, but I'm already moving. I kill the engine, kill the headlights. Darkness presses in, and I realize I left my tablet inside, the one with the frozen feeds and that glimpse of whatever it was. My hand shakes as I unlock the door. The air outside is colder than before. I lean out, scanning the perimeter. No movement, just the distant hum of traffic. I scoop up my flashlight and head back toward the gate. The chain-link fence stands silent, sentinel. The gate is closed, latched, but not locked. I yank it open, slip through, and hurry toward the office entrance. Every step echoes in the stillness. Inside, the automatic doors hang slightly ajar, as if someone nudged them from within. I slip back into the security office. Monitors glare static. One screen still reads, "System error." I rifled through the desk earlier, but now I need that tablet. Evidence of what happened. It could explain mechanical malfunctions, or prove they weren't malfunctions at all. I find the tablet on the floor beneath the monitor bank, screen cracked. My blood runs cold. A smear of dark liquid coats the corner, oil, or something else. I tap the power button. The device flickers, boots into the looping camera feeds. I watch the 9 angles, aisle 1, aisle 2, aisle 3. On aisle 3, the feed jumps. A dark shape slides past the frame. It's quick, almost playful, like a cat brushing by, but the silhouette is tall, head cocked unnaturally, gone before I can freeze frame. I swallow hard. My radio crackles. Unit 72, status? It's back up, finally on scene. I tap the mic. I'm inside, found my tablet. There's footage. Copy, secure the site. We're bringing in maintenance. I switch off the tablet and shove it into my coat. Maintenance won't find anything. By morning, the cameras will be reset. Whatever this was, it'll be chalked up to glitch. But I know better. I step into the corridor again, this time without my weapon drawn, flashlight only. The racks loom overhead, metal skeletons in the dark. The hush is deeper here. I close my eyes, listen. The only sound, my own heartbeat and something else, a faint rhythmic thump like a distant footstep. Then another, 1, 2, 3. I spin, nothing. I advance. The thumping stops. My breath hitches. I train the beam on the floor, footprints in dust. They're not mine. Larger, deeper. They lead down the aisle, past the forklift I thought I'd left idle. The forks are lowered again, silent. I follow the prints. They end at the automatic doors. The sensors flicker. The doors slide open on their own. Beyond is the yard, pale under the sodium lights. I step through. The doors close behind me with a soft click. In the yard, the footprints continue, toward the far fence, toward the darkness beyond. I crouch to examine them, boot treads, but smeared, as if something dragged. At the fence gate, the prints vanish. Just the muddy imprint of boots on concrete, then nothing. A whisper of wind stirs the chain link. The gate creaks open. I stand unsettled. My radio remains silent. Backup hasn't arrived. I check my watch, 2:45. 28 minutes since I first called in. I jog back to the cruiser. The tablet buzzes. A notification, low battery. I slap it into my pocket and climb in. Engine fires. I scan the yard once more. Empty. But in the mirror I glimpse movement. A dark shape ducking behind a stack of pallets. I flash the beams. Nothing. On the road back to headquarters, I replay the footprints in my mind. How did they get outside? Who, or what, left them? Back at precinct, I park under harsh fluorescence. I step inside the lobby, empty, then punch in through the secure door. The desk sergeant looks up. "You okay?" "Yeah," I say, voice tight. "Sights secured, cameras glitching. I've got footage." I hold up the tablet. He nods. "We'll check it out." I drop the tablet on a desk. Technicians will wipe it clean, they always do. I walk away. In the locker room, I strip off the gear. My uniform feels heavy, like I carried something home with me. I catch my reflection in the mirror, eyes ringed with red, jaw clenched, a tapping behind me. I spin. Empty locker row. The lights above flicker, once, twice. I stare. The hum of the fluorescent tubes grows loud, then cuts out. Darkness. I fumble for the switch. Lights flick back on. Nothing changed, but I feel it. The weight of being watched. I grab my coat and badge. On the bulletin board, someone posted a photo. A missing security guard from warehouse 47B. Name, Carson Reed. Last seen 2:10 a.m. My blood runs cold. I check my watch, 2:47 a.m. 2 minutes after I left. I step back. The precinct door clicks shut behind me. In the silent hallway, I pace. Carson Reed vanished inside that depot. I left at 2:13. He disappeared at 2:10. I pull out my phone, no messages, no missed calls, just the home screen wallpaper, me in uniform, an ordinary night. I pocket it. I know I should go home, call it a night, but I can't. Not until I know what followed me out. I push through the precinct's front door into the damp night air, sirens drifting in the distance like ghosts. My cruiser sits under the street lamp, its paint dulled by rain. I slide in, heart still hammering. The tablet's dead, screen black, but I can't leave it here. I tuck it into the center console. I pull onto the highway, headlights carving a path through mist. The road stretches empty. My mind rewinds. Footprints vanishing at the fence. Carson Reed's face pinned to that bulletin board. I tap the radio. "Dispatch, Unit 72. I need a status update on Reed." Silence crackles. Then, "Unit 72, Reed's still missing." No sign on camera. Maintenance found nothing. "We're calling out K9. I nod into the mic. "Copy. I'm checking something else." I kill the radio. Ahead, the depot looms again. Smaller now, a dark shape in the fog. I hesitate. Protocol says secure the scene and leave. But Carson Reed vanished here, and something else moved through that night. I drive on, hugging the shoulder, until I'm under the same flickering yard light. I step out. The air smells of oil and wet concrete. I cross the fence. Gate swings free, and approach the loading bays. The doors are closed. No flicker this time. I run my hand along the metal. Cold, smooth. I push, locked. I lean in, ear to door. Silence. I circle to the side corridor. The racks stand silent. My flashlight beam bounces across empty aisles. I follow the prints, faint, dusty, leading back inside. My breath fogs. I step in. Each footstep echoes. At aisle 3, I stop. The floor is clear. The prints are gone. But on the rack's edge, I see scrape marks. Vertical, like claws gouging steel. My stomach lurches. I trace them with my fingertip. The metal is cold, but the scratches are fresh. Tiny shards of paint on the floor. A soft click behind me. I whirl. The forklift sits 15 feet away, forks raised high. Beacon off. Operator absent. I swallow. The engine coughs, one single mechanical breath. I raise my flashlight. The seat is empty, but the controls are warm. I move in, careful. The forklift creaks, as if settling. I reach out. The steering wheel shifts toward me, slow and deliberate. I yank back. The radio crackles. Unit 72? You still there? I drop to one knee. Yeah, I find anything? Footprints led back inside. K9 is on site. I glance up. The forklift's forks lower with a pneumatic hiss. Again, uncommanded. My pulse spikes. Copy. I'm exiting now. I turn and sprint down the aisle. Behind me, the rack shadows deepen. The lights flicker. My boots slam concrete. I hit the main hall. The security office door is ajar. I push through. Monitors glow. One feed shows the aisle I just fled. Empty. Then, in the corner of the frame, a figure steps into view. Carson Reed, eyes blank, uniform disheveled, standing perfectly still. He tilts his head. My breath catches. I lean closer. The feed glitches. Reed vanishes. 72. What is it? Video. Reed's on the feed. He's standing in aisle 3. I swallow. But he's missing. Are you okay? Negative. I'm coming out. I abandon the tablet on the desk and run for the doors. They close behind me with a pneumatic sigh. I burst into the yard. The K9 unit's lights flash, blue and red, painting the depot in strobe. Officers shout Reed's name. A German shepherd sniffs the fence line. I jog over. The dog's handler kneels, pointing. We got prints here, leading under the fence. He gestures to a gap where the chain link meets the ground. Muddy soil inside. I crouch. More prints, boot treads smudged, and beside them smaller, oval depressions like hands. Something dragged. I trace the path into the night beyond the yard. Reed's partner rushes up, face pale. We found his cruiser, abandoned at the gate. He holds up a key fob. Engine still running. My stomach drops. He drove out. Doesn't make sense. Gate was locked when we got here. I stand. The depot is silent again, except for distant traffic. The K9 is barking down the path. I join the team and follow into the fog. Each step, the beam cuts through mist, revealing empty pavement, then grass, then the dark tree line. The dog pauses at the edge, hackles raised. Behind the trees, I glimpse broken concrete, a service tunnel entrance half hidden by vines. The dog strains on its leash. The handler nods. They open the grate and shine a light inside, a narrow tunnel leading beneath the depot. My radio bleeps. Dispatch to Unit 72, command wants that tunnel sealed. I close my eyes. Reed's face on the monitor, the forklift's empty seat, the doors that opened for him. I draw my weapon. Not yet, I say. We go in. The handler unclips the dog. It pads forward into the darkness. I follow, heart hammering. The tunnel walls drip moisture. The air is stale, like a forgotten grave. My flashlight beam picks out rusted support beams and scrawled graffiti. Go back. I swallow. The dog growls. Up ahead, the tunnel splits. One branch slopes down, the other rises toward a grate. The dog bolts up the incline, claws scrabbling. I follow. At the top, the grate opens into a storage closet inside the depot, one I haven't seen. Boxes stacked impossibly high, dust thick. The dog's nose is on a crate. I kneel. Boot prints lead up to it, and then vanish at the crate's edge. I tap the crate. It tilts. Inside, Reed's radio, cracked and silent. The caller ID still blinking. I lift it. The battery's drained. I slip it into my pocket. A whisper, metal on metal. I spin. The closet door slams shut. Darkness. The flashlight flickers. My breath echoes. Then light returns. The crate is gone. The dog is gone. Silence. I pound on the door. Open! It holds. I try the handle, locked. My radio, dead. I whisper, Carson. No answer. I press my ear to the door. Behind it, distant hum of the depot, the faint thump of forklift hydraulics. And something else. A low, rasping breath. I draw my weapon. The door handle jiggles. I back away. The wood creaks. A thin shaft of light appears under the gap. Then, a soft voice, unmistakable. Help me. My blood runs cold. The cold press of metal against my back makes me start, heart stuttering. The closet door's lock clicks, and the door swings inward, slowly, impossibly, though no one's on the other side. I step out into half-light, muscles coiled. The dog's barking echoes somewhere deep in the depot. Reed's voice still rings in my ears. Help me. I pocket his radio, weapon raised, and edge down the narrow corridor toward the main hall. Every overhead light glares harsh, casting long shadows that twitch at the edges of vision. The tunnel grate is open behind me. Someone, or something, left it that way. I glance back. The chute into darkness yawns like a mouth. I resist the pull and move on. The security office lies ahead, empty monitors flickering. I swipe in with my badge. The feed on screen 4 is live. It shows aisle 3 empty, until a dark shape detaches from the far rack and slinks into the shadows. My breath catches. I grab the tablet and hit record. The shape pauses, as if sensing the camera, then blends into darkness. I step out into the yard. Mist swirls under the yard lamp. The K-9 team's vehicle is gone. No handlers, no dog. My cruiser sits abandoned at the fence gate, engine off. I approach, flashlight trembling. The driver's door is ajar. Inside, the dome light reveals Carson Reed's notebook, open to a page of scrawled numbers and letters, like coordinates. 38.7124, negative 77.2368, tunnel 3 unknown. I snap a photo. Reed must have traced the tunnel exit. These coordinates point to the far edge of the property, an overgrown service road that leads deeper into the industrial park. I close the door. The engine's dead. He didn't drive off. He walked. I follow the service road. Headlights pierce the fog ahead. A lone maintenance truck, its hazard lights flashing. I jog toward it. The driver's side door is open, no one in the cab. On the passenger seat, a hard hat and a security badge, mine. I freeze. I step back. The hat clatters to the ground, wind or a nudge. I scoop it up. My badge is scratched, smeared with grease. I wipe it on my sleeve. The truck's engine idles. I kill the light. Silence. A high-pitched whine begins beneath me, like metal grinding on concrete. I look down. The drain, grate below the truck, vibrates. The grate cover shifts, then slides aside. A hand, pale, glistening, reaches up. Fingernails tipped with black grime. It curls around the edge. I step back, pistol drawn. The hand withdraws. The grate clatters closed. The truck door slams. I whirl. No one there. My radio crackles, static. Then Carson Reed's voice, faint. Can't find exit. I jerk the mic. Reed, where are you? Silence. Only the whine persists, then cuts out. I slip into the truck and kill the engine. The maintenance lights snap of, I'm in total darkness. Save my flashlight. I step out and circle the vehicle. The ground around the grate is disturbed. Fresh soil in the cracks. Footprints lead away, toward a line of shipping containers. I follow, heart in my throat. Between the containers, the fog deepens. My beam catches something scrawled on corrugated steel. No escape. The letters look freshly painted. Beneath, muddy boot prints head into a narrow gap between containers. I squeeze through. On the far side, the depot's rear wall rises, solid concrete. A service door stands ajar, light spilling out. I approach. The smell, oil, rot, something fouled, hits me. I push the door fully open. It leads into a long corridor of utility pipes and electrical panels. The hum of machinery vibrates through the floor. I step inside. The door closes behind me with a hollow clang. I spin, locked. My flashlight skitters across pipes labeled water, compressed air, SHEVAC. A maintenance cart sits abandoned, tools scattered. A single glove lies next to a spilled coffee cup. Reed's handwriting. They're watching. I freeze. The words echo in the stale air. I pick up the glove. Black leather, size too large. I slide it onto my left hand. It smells of oil and something metallic. Blood? I shake it out. The glove's palm has strange ridges, like circuitry. Ahead, the corridor splits. One branch descends into shadow. The other climbs toward a grated skylight. I choose the skylight. Each step up the ladder rings with tension. At the top, I push the grate aside and crawl into the loading bay roof. Moonlight glints on metal beams. Through a broken panel, I see the yard below, empty, but for the silent forklifts. I climb out, heart pounding. I'm 20 feet above ground. The gate stands closed. Beyond, the industrial park stretches into darkness. I climb down the support beam, drop to the ground, and skid to a stop. My radio crackles with life. Unit 72, command. Status? Relief washes through me. I tap the mic. I'm in the machinery corridor. Found glove, notes, Reed's missing. I need assistance. Hold position. Backup ETA 4 minutes. I hide behind a stack of pallets. The night is unnaturally still. I check my watch, 3:12 a.m. 45 minutes since the first silent call. 45 minutes since Reed vanished. A distant clang, metal on metal. The forklifts stir in the yard. One beacon light flickers on. It rotates, casting the yard in shifting shadows. The forklift glides forward, toward me. Forks raised, beacon clicking. I stiffen. This time, I don't need to think. I fire 3 rounds into the engine block. The forklift shudders, dies. Silence returns. The field radio in my hand crackles. Shots fired? Yeah, I whisper. Forklift down, no operator. Copy. Proceed to extraction point. I move, stepping over grease-slick concrete. Each footstep echoes. The yard's lights blink off, one by one, until I'm in darkness. Only the moon guides me. I head for the fence gate. It's open. I slip through and run to my cruiser. I climb in, lock the doors. The glove lies on the passenger seat. I glance at it. The circuitry pattern gleams. I shudder and close the door. As I pull away, the depot's lights snap back on. The forklifts stand still. The gate swings shut. I drive toward the precinct, speeding. In my rearview mirror, I see Reed, standing under the yard lamp, motionless, head tilted. His lips part, and I swear he mouths 2 words. Stay out. I slam the cruiser into park. My pulse spikes. I kill the engine. Reed is gone. The lot is empty. My radio crackles. Unit 72, are you copy? I pick up the glove and crush it in my fist. I'm working it, I say, on my way back. But I know I'm not going back. Not tonight, not ever. Something in that depot wants isolation, silence, shadows. It let me leave once. Will it let me leave again? The streetlights overhead blur as I pull the cruiser onto the shoulder, lungs burning, mind racing. I glance in the rearview mirror. Nothing but empty road and the wavering glow of the depot in the distance. The glove lies on the passenger seat, its circuitry ridges mocking me. I kill the engine and step out into the chill. Night air tastes metallic. I know I should radio in, call this whole thing off, wait for daylight investigators, but Carson Reed is still inside that depot, or whatever remains of him, and something else is in there too, something that doesn't belong. I pocket my badge, leave the cruiser unlocked, and head back on foot. The damp grass squishes under my boots. My flashlight beam bounces ahead, carving a narrow path through the fog. 20 minutes later, I'm at the fence gate. It stands closed, latch rusted but intact. I push through, careful not to make a sound. The yard is silent. The forklifts sit idle, metal ribs gleaming under the yard lamps. The automatic doors are shut. No flicker, no loop, just stillness. I move to the security office. The door is ajar, like it's waiting. Inside, the monitors are dark. The tablet I recorded on is gone. In its place, a fresh coffee cup steams on the desk. I don't remember one being here before. I pick up the cup, lukewarm, stale grounds at the bottom. Someone, or something, made coffee. A whisper of movement draws me to the corridor. I step inside. The racks rise like tomb pillars. The air smells of oil and dust. I follow the faint scuff marks on the concrete. Boot prints edged with mud. They lead to aisle 3. My heart hammers. At the end of the aisle, the automatic doors slide open by themselves. Beyond is the yard, empty. I step through. The forklift sits off to the side, forks lowered. Beacon light pulses once, then dies. I approach. On the seat lies Carson Reed's uniform cap. I pick it up, and the insignia is bent, torn. I drop it. The forklift engine rumbles. I whirl, weapon drawn, and see Reed leaning against the far fence, uniform stained, eyes black holes. "Reed!" I hiss. He doesn't move. The dog tags around his neck, clink. I step closer. His jaw works. No sound. I crouch, voice low. "Carson, it's me. Let's go." He lifts a hand. In it, my radio, cracked and silent. He tosses it to me. I catch it reflexively. He steps toward me, stiff, jerking, like a broken marionette. I back away, heart in my throat. He stops, head tilting, forehead creased. Then he smiles. It's wrong, mouth too wide, teeth too bright. "You shouldn't have come back," he rasps, voice layered. His and something else's, mechanical and cold. I fire, 3 rounds into his chest. He doesn't flinch. The bullets ping off metal beneath his uniform, body armor. He steps forward. I empty the magazine. Each shot echoes. The forklift engine revs behind me. I spin. Forks rise, casting long shadows. The automatic doors begin to close, cutting off exit. I sprint toward the fence. Reed's laughter follows, a hollow, grinding sound. The gate ahead shimmers. I reach it. The latch lifts on its own. I dive through, tearing my shoulder. I crawl onto the grass, roll, and dash for the cruiser. Behind me, the depot lights flicker. The forklift beacon spins. Reed stands in the doorway, silhouette framed in pale light. I reach the cruiser, throw myself inside, slam the door. My sidearm lies on the seat, empty. I grab my radio, dead. I slam it shut. Engine fires. Tires spin. I don't look back. The depot recedes. Moonlight glints on the glove in my pocket. I pull it out. The circuitry lines pulse faintly, as if alive. I drop it, and it rolls toward the passenger door, coming to rest upright, fingers splayed. I drive until the road ends at a highway overpass. I kill the engine. My hands shake. I step out. The road is empty. In the distance, the depot's lights wink on and off. An impossible Morse code. I lift my head. The glove is gone. In its place, a muddy boot print on the asphalt, and beside it a second print, small, oval, dragging. I whisper into the night, "Carson?" Only the echo answers. The highway overpass rattles as a lone semi barrels past, headlights sweeping across my crouched form. I press myself against the cold concrete barrier, breath fogging in the night air. My shoulder aches where I tore it on the fence. The memory of Carson Reed's twisted smile and the forklift's empty revving burns behind my eyes. I know I can't leave it here. I slide back behind the wheel and head south, following the faint glow of the depot's lights fading on the horizon. The glove's circuitry pulse still haunts me. I half expect it to light up again. Instead, my dashboard flickers. The radio springs to life with static, then a soft whisper, so low I almost doubt I heard it. "Find me." I slam the radio off. My knuckles whiten on the wheel. The road stretches empty. I pull onto a service road that loops back toward the industrial park. Every mile marker blurs past. 12, 11, 10. My pulse matches each count. At mile 7, I turn onto a gravel lane I've never seen on any map. Tall grass brushes the cruiser's sides. The only sign is a rusted arrow. 47B arrow. The beam from my flashlight cuts across corrugated metal, abandoned storage containers. I park and step out. Silence presses in. I check my watch, 3:45 a.m. Backup should have sealed this place, but here I am, alone again. I pocket my pistol and move toward the nearest container. The latch is loose. I pry it open. Inside, empty boxes, dust, but on the floor, muddy footprints matching those in the depot. They lead out the back. I follow into a narrow gap between containers. The grass gives way to cracked concrete. Ahead, half buried under vines, I spot a rusted manhole cover. The same stale smell rises from the gap. My breath catches. I pull at the cover. It shifts, then gives with a groan. Darkness yawns below. I drop the flashlight and brace myself on the edge. The tunnel descends in a spiral of concrete steps, slick with moisture. I flick the light on and climb down. The air is thick, suffocating. Each step echoes. At the bottom, the passage splits. One way toward a faint red glow, the other swallowed, in blackness. The red glow comes from an emergency exit sign, "Exit," above a steel door. I approach. The door's surface is pocked with rust. A small window, frosted glass. I press my palm to it. On the other side, movement, someone pacing. Carson Reed. I press my eye to the glass. A face appears, not Reed's but mine. Pale, haunted, staring back. The door handle rattles. I step back, heart pounding. The exit sign flickers off. The other corridor light flickers on. I turn and follow it. This tunnel walls are lined with pipes, each labeled in peeling stencils. Sewage, steam, compressed air. My flashlight beam catches graffiti. "They hunger," scrawled in dripping red. Beneath it a handprint. Too large to be human. I swallow. Up ahead, I hear a metallic clang, like a gate slamming. I hurry forward, coming to a caged elevator shaft. The elevator car sits at the bottom, doors open. Inside, Reed's cruiser key fob, dangling from the ceiling light. I reach for it. The car jolts, wooden groan, then the doors slam shut. I dive back. A voice crackles through the dark shaft. "Get in!" My gut twists. I step away. The elevator begins to ascend, slow, uneven, creaking. I shine my light up. Nothing but black. Then at the top, a door unlatches. The car shudders as it pushes through. I hear footsteps above. Metal on metal. I back into the tunnel. The elevator car doors open, no car, just darkness beyond. I flash the light inside. Water seeps across the floor. I step out onto the car platform. The door clangs shut behind me. I'm sealed in. My radio crackles. "Unit 72, are you there?" I slam the mic. "I'm in the shaft. Elevator opened on its own. Stay put, we're dispatching rescue. The shaft hums. The emergency light flickers red. I check my watch, 4:02 a.m. Nearly 2 hours since the first silent alarm. I grip the railing. Below, water drips. Above, gears whir. The cage begins to move. Down. Faster. I hold on. The light flickers out. Blackness. When it returns, I'm in a room lit by a single bare bulb. The walls are concrete. In the center, a metal table. On it, a tablet, playing my own voice from earlier. They're watching. I step forward. The tablet screen shifts to live feed. Aisle 3, the security office, the yard, my cruiser parked, and behind it, Carson Reed standing motionless, head tilted. I spin, the door slams. I'm alone. The table vibrates. The forklift beacon pulses on the tablet. A whisper. Find me. I raise my weapon. The table shakes. The tablet's screen cracks. The bulb flickers. I back away. The door handle rattles. The cell door opens before I can knock. I step into a narrow hallway lined with doors, each with a small window. The walls hum with electrical current. I check my watch. 4:10 a.m. No backup has arrived. My radio is still dead. My only company is my own racing pulse. At the far end, a single door stands ajar, light spilling out. I approach. Through the window, I see a maintenance room. Tools hanging, oil cans, a bench. But on the bench lies Carson Reed, alive, eyes closed, breathing shallow. I rush forward. Carson! I kneel. His eyelids flutter. He gasps, "You shouldn't." His voice trails. He tries to sit. I help him up. He's pale, clothes torn, skin mottled. I half expect him to vanish. He grips my arm. "They never let you leave," he rasps. "It's feeding." "Feeding what?" I ask. He points behind me. First turn. The hallway extends, impossibly, farther than the depot's footprint. Doors line both sides, vanishing into darkness. From one, I hear distant clanking. From another, whispers. The fluorescent lights flicker in sequence, creating the illusion of movement at the corridor's end. Reed leans on me. "We opened the loop. Now it's open." I frown. "Loop?" He coughs. "The camera loop. You saw it. It trapped something. We thought we escaped, but it came through." He shudders. "It's hungry." A door at the far end creaks open. A silhouette stands in the frame. Tall, head cocked, the uncanny figure from the racks. It steps forward, each movement jerky, mechanical. I raise my weapon. Reed pushes me behind the bench. "Don't show fear." The figure stops. The lights flicker. Then the corridor beyond plunges into darkness. We hear metal scraping, like claws on concrete, coming closer. I fire into the darkness. Shots echo. The figure staggers back, then lunges forward through the blackout. I switch on my flashlight, empty corridor, only the echo of my shots and Reed's ragged breathing. He pulls me to my feet. "We go deeper," he says, "to close the loop." I hesitate. "How?" He points to a panel on the wall, an access hatch marked Control Nexus. "That's the heart. We shut it down, we sever the feed." I nod. We hurry down the corridor. Doors slam behind us, each gust of wind or mechanical blow. The scraping follows. Our footsteps echo. At the hatch, Reed punches a code. It clicks open to reveal a room of cables, servers, and monitors. Some showing static, others flickering scenes from inside the depot from every angle. In the center, a circular device hums. A rotating mirror array feeding camera loops. Wires snake from it like tentacles. Reed moves to the controls. "We cut power," he says. He flips a switch. The humming intensifies. Then the room goes silent. Monitors die. The mirror array slows, then stops. A low moan fills the corridor. The hatch slams shut. The lights flicker back, revealing the uncanny figure at the threshold. It tilts its head. Then, in a single fluid motion, it lunges and vanishes into static. Reed and I stare at the closed hatch. The hum is gone. The depot above falls silent. We climb through the hatch onto the floor above, a service mezzanine overlooking the yard. The forklifts stand still. The automatic doors are sealed. We hurry down the stairs. At the ground floor, the security office monitors are dark. The front gate is locked. Reed tests it, solid. He breathes out. We step outside into pre-dawn light. The yard is empty. The fog has lifted. The world feels normal. Too normal. I glance at Reed. He's shivering. "They won't come back," he says. "We broke the loop." I nod, but I don't believe it. The glove's circuitry pulses in my pocket one last time, then fades. I pull it out and crush it under my boot. It cracks like glass. Reed limps to my cruiser. I unlock the door and help him in. He closes his eyes. I start the engine. As we drive away, the depot recedes behind us. Silent, dark, its secrets buried once more. But in the mirror, I glimpse movement, a lone forklift beacon blinking. And I know the loop may be broken, but its hunger remains. Outside the city limits, I pull over. Reed is asleep. I step out, look back. The road stretches empty under dawn's first light. I whisper, "We're free," and drop the glove's remains into the grass. But as I turn to go, the grass shifts, and two muddy prints appear side by side, leading back toward the depot. I step off the shoulder into the pale light of dawn, dew soaking through my boots. Across the misted field, the depot's silhouette stands silent. Its windows dark, gates locked, as if nothing ever happened. Carson Reed's breathing evenes in the passenger seat. He's finally asleep, exhaustion claiming him. But I know better than to rest. In my hand, I still feel the faint weight of that glove's shattered circuitry under my boot heel. I brush a finger across the cracked fragments, a last reminder of what we faced. The world around me hums with morning life. Birds stirring, distant traffic, the low rumble of a new day. Yet, beneath that ordinary soundtrack, I sense something shifted forever. I walk slowly back to the cruiser, every step measured. My mind replays the 7 hours of darkness, the silent alarms, the looping cameras, the driverless forklift, Reed's vanishing, the hidden tunnels, the control nexus. Each piece fit together like a twisted machine designed to trap us in fear. We severed its power, but at what cost? I slide into the driver's seat. Reed stirs, blinking against the light. He gives me a thin nod. No words left between us. We both know the depot's secret didn't die with the circuits. It lurks in empty aisles, in flickering fluorescence, in the spaces between heartbeats. I start the engine. The cruiser idles, ready. I glance once more at the depot fading in my mirror. For a moment, its yard lights wink on, just one beacon against the pale sky, then die. I exhale. "Let's get you help," I say softly. Reed nods and gathers himself. He pockets the radio, the last piece of evidence. We drive toward the city, toward coffee, toward debriefing, toward daylight. But as we merge onto the highway, I catch movement at the edge of the mirror. A lone figure standing under a street lamp. Tall, rigid, head tilted. I blink. It vanishes. I don't reach for my weapon. I don't slam on the brakes. I simply keep driving. Because I've learned that some doors, once opened, never fully close, and some echoes of the night persist long after the sun rises. In the rearview mirror, I whisper into the empty cab. "Stay safe, Carson." Only silence answers, and I realize that's how it has to be. We carry the story with us. The depot stays behind, but its hunger might still follow. And somewhere, in the looping circuits of that dark labyrinth, it waits for the next call. I hit the yard light switch and the beam spatters across peeling paint on the loading dock walls. The hum of the overhead fixture falters, then steadies. I step off the bumper, boots crunching on gravel, and the silence presses in, thick as oil. My radio crackles once. "Unit 42, you there?" I tap the mic. "I'm here, Northridge Warehouse, silent 911 calls, cameras offline." The gate creaks as I push through. Chain links rattle. A forklift sits idle under a flickering lamp, its engine still warm. I sweep my flashlight over the metal racks, towering skeletons of steel girders and dusty pallets stacked 6 feet high. The space yawns before me like a mouth waiting to swallow. I pause. Something about the dust motes drifting in the light makes the air feel alive. I move toward the security booth. The glass is cracked, shards litter the floor. Monitors lie dark, their screens blank. The DVR console lies overturned, cables severed. My pulse quickens. Whoever, or whatever, came through here didn't want to be seen. I kneel, brush my gloved fingers across the cut wires. Clean cuts, professional. I radio dispatch. "Daniels to dispatch." DVR tampered. No video feed. Footsteps echo down the main corridor, metal on concrete. I draw my weapon, heart hammering. The sound stops. I creep forward. The beam of my flashlight slides across empty offices. Desks overturned, paperwork fluttering like wounded birds. The phone receiver dangles off the hook. I lift it. Deadline. My breath fogs in the chill. A distant clang, steel on steel, erupts behind me. I whirl. The forklift's forks have lowered, carving grooves in the concrete. I back away. It rolls forward, engine idling, headlights swinging toward me. My boot scuffs the ground. Intention or glitch? I fire a warning shot into the air. The engine cuts. Silence. I press onward, the warehouse swallowing me. My radio sputters. Daniels back up en route. Relief flickers, then fades as the speaker on the wall crackles to life. No dispatch voice, just heavy breathing, measured, intentional. I scan the rafters. Nothing. The breathing continues, but the booth is empty. I round a rack and nearly collide with a figure. Uniformed, hunched, face obscured. "Hey!" I shout, flashlight shaking. The figure blinks once, then dissolves into shadow. My gut twists. I chase after it, boots slapping concrete, but the aisle stretches empty. The air tastes metallic. Time warps. My watch flickers. 2:17. I'm alone. Every instinct screams to leave, but protocol binds me. I reach the camera room, door ajar. Inside, screens flicker static. One monitor clears long enough to show me, standing behind me. I spin. No one there. A whisper crawls across the speaker. "Stay." The word drips cold fear down my spine. I yank the door closed. The lights die. Absolute black. My hand fumbles for the flashlight. It sputters back on, illuminating footprints in dust, leading deeper. I swallow hard. I follow. The racks narrow. The ceiling crane groans overhead. The chain clanks as if weight pulls it downward. My radio goes dead. I'm cut off. Heart slamming. I press on, drawn by a soft mechanical whir, like breathing through metal. At the end of the aisle, a pallet leans. Behind it, 2 eyes reflect my beam. Human? No, hollow. The shape steps forward. I raise my weapon. "Show yourself." The thing tilts its head. Its mouth twists into a grin. Then it speaks, not words, but a sound that reverberates in my skull. I fire. The figure dissipates into dust motes drifting in the beam. The warehouse lights snap back on. Forklift idles. Monitors revive, showing empty aisles. My radio sputters to life. "Daniels, are you okay?" I force my voice steady. I'm fine. I need extraction." I backpedal toward the exit, every shadow now a threat. The gate clangs shut ahead. I fling it open and run into the yard. My partner's cruiser slides in, lights blazing. I jump in, door slamming. Behind me, the warehouse stands silent. Dark window staring like an eye. I key the mic. We're clear. But as we peel away, I swear, I see that hollow shape at the window, watching. I'm breathing so hard I can feel the car shaking beneath me. My partner, O'Reilly, keeps glancing back at the warehouse through the rear window, eyes wide in his headlight glare. He doesn't speak. He knows better than to break the fragile silence. The cruiser's engine hums a steady note, tires rolling over gravel, but every bump jolts me back to that hollow figure in the window. "Dispatch," I croak into the mic. "Unit 42 en route to station." Nobody else with me. My voice sounds small. The dispatcher's clipped reply barely registers. I stare out at the receding shape of the building. Dark, silent, like it never breathed. O'Reilly finally clears his throat. "You okay, Danny? You look like you saw a ghost." My hand tightens on the door handle. Something like that. I force a laugh, but it comes out hollow. "Let's just get back. I need to file the report." He nods, but I catch the way his jaw clenches. He wants to ask more. What did I see? But we both know there's no official record for something that vanishes into dust when shot. The drive back to the precinct feels surreal. Streetlights pass in ragged intervals. Every shadow beyond their glow seems alive, reaching. My flashlight beam, the sudden blackouts, the weight of those empty eyes. They follow me, even with the cruiser's overhead lights flashing off. At the station, O'Reilly parks under the yellow security lamps. We step out, and I half expect the warehouse to be parked behind us. That whole place should not exist in broad daylight. We head inside. The front desk sergeant looks up. "Daniels, you cleared?" I nod. Paperwork's coming. My legs feel unsteady. I'm guided to the report room, the walls fluorescent white, the air smelling of coffee and printer toner. I sit at the desk and pull out my laptop, fingers hovering over the keyboard. Everything inside me screams not to write it, the impossible, the breathing, the grin, but policy demands. I open the incident report form. Section, nature of call. I type, "Silent 911 call, Northridge Warehouse. No audible distress, cameras offline, possible equipment malfunction, no suspects located." My eyes sting. I delete it. I hesitate, then I write, "Officer responded, observed unusual mechanical activity, forklift activation, door movement. No human subjects identified, recommended further security inspection." Even that feels dishonest, but I can't put apparition in the official file I save and print. I slide it across to O'Reilly. He glances down, eyebrows rising. "You left out the part where you emptied your clip," he says softly. I shrug. Better they think I misfired than hallucinated. He taps the paper. "Just so you know, I saw something too. When you took that shot, I thought I heard something break apart." My stomach lurches. "You did?" He nods. "Yeah, like glass shattering inside metal." And then the cameras flickered back on. I saw someone, or something, reflected for a split second in monitor 3. It looked like you, but twisted. My throat goes dry. "We're not teaming up on this, right?" I force a grin. O'Reilly's face is solemn. "Whatever it was, man, it wasn't human." We leave the report room. The station feels too bright, too normal. I step outside for air. The night breeze is sharp, carrying distant traffic hum. I phone dispatch and request a security team inspect the warehouse at first light. Standard procedure. They'll check structural faults, wiring, forklifts. They'll find nothing. I pocket my phone and scan the dark horizon. My partner joins me. He offers a cigarette. I shake my head. Can't smoke on duty. He shrugs and lights his, takes a drag. The ember glows like a dying star. "Listen, Danny," he says, voice low. "You want to go back in there? Do it with backup. And maybe a camera crew. Get it on tape, because if nobody else believes you..." He trails off. I nod. I will. But inside I'm terrified. I know if I go back alone, I'll end up part of the shadows. 3 hours later, I'm back at my apartment, tossing boots by the door. My phone buzzes. Text from dispatch. Security team reported no anomalies. Site secure. I stare at the message. No anomalies. That can't be right. I type back, "You sure? Any logs of forklift activation?" They reply, "All systems normal. No alarms." I close my eyes. The memory of that breathing on the speaker, the shape flickering in the monitor. None of it shows up in logs. It's like the warehouse erased everything. I lie in bed, uniform still on, eyes open to the ceiling. The clock reads 5:07. I replay every sound. The gate swing, the engine hum, the whisper of metal on metal. My skin itches. At 6 a.m. I finally drift into a shallow sleep. Dreams chase me. Endless aisles of racks, my flashlight beam bouncing, revealing dozens of figures with hollow eyes. They whisper in unison, "Stay." My alarm rips me awake. Morning light streams weakly through blinds. I feel like I haven't slept at all. I shower, suit up again, heart hammering. I call O'Reilly. "Meet me at North Ridge at 10, I say. "Bring the gear." He answers without surprise. "Understood." By 10:15, I'm back in the cruiser, dash cam rolling. I've got 2 uniformed officers and a security tech in the back seat. Body cameras, portable recorders, extra flashlights. We roll up to the warehouse. The yard looks peaceful in daylight. No flicker, no hum, just still racks behind locked gates. I step out, approach the gate. It's latched properly. I push through, the others follow. The tech carries a handheld monitor, wireless feed from our body cams. We enter the booth. I flip switches. The monitors stay black. The tech frowns. Power's on, signal's live. I gesture to the DVR. "Let's plug in." He connects. The screens flicker to life, static, then the last recorded footage. Empty aisles, forklift parked. No one moving, the timestamp 2:20, then the feed cuts. The final frame is my silhouette. I swallow. Playback continuous. The tech rewinds. We watch, me stepping in, the forklift idling, then the shape emerging behind the rack, just for a frame, then static. The tech rewinds again, slows frame by frame. You see it. A shadow coalescing into something like a person, then dissolving. The officers exchange glances. I point. There. One officer, Martinez, speaks up. "We need audio?" The tech boosts the mic feed. A low mechanical groan, then breath. Slow, deliberate. It's faint but clear. My blood runs cold. O'Reilly moves to the door controls. He presses the button. Everything goes silent. The booth's lone ceiling light flickers, then dies. We're in. Darkness. My voice is steady. Turn on body cams. The officers tap their chests. Tiny red LEDs glow. The tech hears static on his monitor, the breathing, louder now. It's coming from deeper inside. I draw my weapon. Stay together. We step into the corridor. The beam from my flashlight cuts through dust. The racks loom like tombstones. The breathing echoes coming from the back. We move. The forklift sits in the same spot, pristine, unmoved. Martinez edges forward, flashlight on the floor, footprints fresh. We follow them. They lead to the camera room. The door hangs open. I slip inside. Monitors flicker. Static, then my face again, only twisted, mouth stretched in a silent scream. I spin. The image lingers a beat too long. Suddenly, the door slams shut. The monitors die. The speaker crackles. "Why did you come back?" The voice is mine, but warped. The officers shout. They pound the door. I press my ear to the wood. The voice continues. "You shouldn't have come back." Then silence. I kick the door open. The room is empty. The text monitor shows only static. My radio crackles. "Unit 42, what's your status?" I swallow. We need immediate evac." As we back out, the warehouse seems to exhale behind us. The gate clangs shut on its own. The overhead floodlight flickers off. We pile into the cruiser. Engines roar. O'Reilly peels away. I look back. The building stands silent, unblinking. "Will you ever go back?" Martinez asks, voice trembling. I grip the wheel. I don't know. Because some places don't want to be found, and once you answer their call, there may be no leaving. The cruiser's tires spat gravel as we peeled away from the warehouse, but the tension inside the cabin didn't ease. It coiled tighter, like steel spring. O'Reilly drove in silence, knuckles white on the wheel. Martinez hunched forward, eyes darting to every dark shape beyond the windows. The tech sat trembling, fingers clenched around his tablet. I leaned forward, heart pounding, trying to steady my breath. Every street lamp we passed seemed to flicker in warning. By the time we reached the intersection at Ridge Road and Carson Highway, the first pale fingers of dawn were pushing back the night. I radioed dispatch. Unit 42 and support clear of scene, returning to station. The reply was brisk. "Copy that. Report when you're in." I killed the mic. Inside, the station felt sterile. Fluorescent lights humming overhead, the scent of stale coffee and paper. We filed our supplemental report, this time including the video stills and audio clip of that distorted breathing. The sergeant glanced at the files, lips pressed together. He cleared his throat. "You boys, sure you want to put this in writing?" I met his gaze. "Yes, Sergeant, we've got evidence." Martinez shuffled the USB drive on the desk. "Frame by frame, sir, you can see the shape." The sergeant nodded slowly. "All right, I'll forward it to Internal Affairs Tech Division. They'll run diagnostics on the cameras and audio, but you know how it goes. If they can explain it away, they will." He tapped the printout. "Get some rest. You look like hell." We left the station in a daze. Outside, the sky was pale blue, mocking us with its normalcy. I climbed into my cruiser alone. O'Reilly and Martinez had other calls, and stared at the radio mic. The warehouse's voice still echoed in my mind. "You shouldn't have come back." I drove home with the windows down, cool morning air rushing in, trying to blow away the residue of fear. But it clung to me. At home, I poured coffee as black as a moonless night and sat at the kitchen table, laptop open. I rewatched the footage. Static grain, then my silhouette, then that flicker of something unreal. I slowed it frame by frame. The shape coalesced, taller than me, shoulders too broad, limbs too long. Its head turned, but the angles were wrong, jagged, unnatural, and those eyes, empty pits that absorbed light rather than reflecting it. I pressed play on the audio. The breathing sounded wet, mechanical, like a rusted engine trying to inhale. Beneath it, faintly, was another sound. A high-pitched keening, almost like metal scraping against metal or distant children crying. I raised the volume. The keening sharpened, then cut off abruptly as the feed went dead. My phone buzzed. A text from O'Reilly. Meeting at the warehouse at 8 o'clock tonight. Bring everything. I stared at the message. I had promised myself I wouldn't go back, but I needed answers. I texted back, I'll be there. The hours crawled by. I tried to work on paperwork, but every form blurred. I stepped outside. Sunlight was bright, almost painful after the darkness of the warehouse, but the normal world felt alien. Neighbors jogged past, lawnmowers whined, birds sang. None of them knew what lurked in those steel corridors. At 7:30 p.m., I met O'Reilly and Martinez at the edge of the complex. We parked on the shoulder, engine off. The lot was deserted. The gates lay open, silent sentinels. The warehouse loomed, windows dark. Crickets chirped. A light breeze stirred the chain-link fence. I drew my flashlight and Glock. O'Reilly carried a rifle. Martinez had a tactical baton. The tech lugged his recorder and a battery pack. We moved in single file, boots crunching on gravel. Each step echoed like a drumbeat in the quiet. My flashlight illuminated peeling paint, rust stains, and the pale graffiti of night workers long gone. Inside, the air was cooler, stale and metallic. We passed the security booth, monitors black, DVR still disconnected. Martinez knelt, checked the wiring. Still severed, he murmured. No new cuts, same old ones. I shivered. We advanced down the main aisle. The forklift lay dormant. Forks lowered as if in sleep. I approached cautiously. My beam traced the treads in the dust, old prints from our last visit, but no new ones. I tapped the forklift. The metal rang hollow. The engine was cold. A soft click sounded behind us. Doors closing. We spun. The gate at the far end had shut itself. O'Reilly rushed over and pried it open. The latch moved stiffly. He grunted. Something doesn't want us here. We continued. The corridor narrowed between shelves loaded with unmarked crates. My radio crackled. Dispatch, Unit 42, silent on comms. I sighed, no surprise. As we neared the camera room, the ambient light dimmed. The tech raised his tablet. Battery at 20%. He tapped the screen. Body cam feeds flickered on, our own perspectives overlaid with time code. I watched myself from two angles. Stepping forward, tense posture, breath visible in the beam. Then, behind me, a shape drifted across the feed for a split second. I jerked in my seat. O'Reilly and Martinez saw it too. Martinez whispered, voice trembling. There it is. We piled out of the booth into the aisle. The breathing began, low and rhythmic, each inhalation like a piston. It came from every direction and nowhere. Martinez clicked on his helmet cam light. O'Reilly raised his rifle. I stepped forward, voice firm. Show yourself. Silence. Then a scraping sound overhead. The ceiling crane's hook scraped along the rail, inching forward. It moved slowly, deliberately, carrying nothing. The chain rattled. I aimed my flashlight upward. The hook swung, casting a long shadow that stretched toward me like a claw. Without warning, the crane lurched. The hook dropped and scraped the concrete with a deafening screech. We flinched. Sparks flew where metal met floor. The breathing intensified, now punctuated by a faint metallic keening. I radioed dispatch. We're in. Covering coordinates. Something's here. The reply crackled. Copy. Backup ETA 5 minutes. Backup? I didn't want backup. I wanted answers before more people got hurt. O'Reilly edged forward, scanning the racks. Follow me, he whispered. We moved toward the loading dock doors at the far end, our exit route. The tech stayed close, recording everything. Martinez covered our 6. As we passed the center aisle, the forklift radioed to life, its horn blaring a single mournful blast. We dove for cover behind a rack. The horn cut off as abruptly as it began. silence returned. My heart thundered. "This is unreal," I muttered. A faint light glowed at the far end. An exit sign? No, movement. A figure framed in greenish light beyond the open door. It stood motionless. I swallowed. It looked like a person, wearing a uniform, hat pulled low, but the proportions were wrong. Limbs too long, torso too narrow. It tilted its head. I rose, gun trained. "Hey!" My voice cracked. The figure didn't move. Then it raised one hand in mimicry, a wave. I felt bile rise. I stepped back. Suddenly, the figure vanished. The light died. The door slammed shut. We were plunged into darkness. Martinez fumbled for his light. It flickered on, revealing the door sealed tight. O'Reilly rammed it. It held. The breathing surged, now accompanied by faint scratching from within the walls. The tech's recorder sputtered, low battery. His tablet died, screen black. We were blind. I pounded my flashlight's head, nothing. My Glock's rail light flickered weakly. Between the racks, shapes seemed to shift, shadows moving independent of us. My pulse was a drum in my ears. I swallowed fear and spoke. "Stick together." We go back to the booth, regroup. We backed away slowly, senses screaming. Every step echoed, the scratching followed. The breathing hovered behind us. I kept my back to the rack, eyes scanning. Halfway back, Martinez stumbled. "Tripwire," he hissed. He pointed to a thin cable stretched across the aisle at shin height. We halted. The cable was rigged to nothing obvious, just tied to racks. A trap. O'Reilly cut the wire with his knife. Smart. He nodded grimly. Someone, or something, wanted to slow us. We reached the booth. The monitors remained dark, but we barricaded the door with a chair. I double-checked my magazine, 6 rounds. O'Reilly reloaded. Martinez checked his baton. The tech wiped sweat from his brow. We huddled. The breathing was distant now, but constant. No one spoke. Each of us replayed the last minutes in our minds. Finally, I said, "We push through. We end this tonight." O'Reilly's nod was firm. Martinez's eyes shone with fear and resolve. The tech swallowed and gripped his recorder. I stood, weapon high. "On 3. 1, 2, 3. We burst from the booth into the corridor, flashlights carving arcs through stale air. The racks pressed in, the breathing swelled, close now. I rounded the corner toward the exit doors. They were ajar, light spilling from the crack. I lunged forward, then froze. The forklift sat between me and the doors. Its forks raised waist-high, dripping oil. Behind it, the figure stood, head cocked, arms hanging unnaturally. My gun settled on the figure's head. I squeezed the trigger. The shot echoed, metal rang, and the figure dissolved. No dust, no body, just vanished. The forklift's engine stuttered and died. The doors slammed shut. I dove for the handle as O'Reilly and Martinez covered me. I wrenched it open, and we spilled into the yard. The warehouse doors groaned shut behind us. We didn't stop running until the cruiser was in sight. We piled in. O'Reilly slammed the door. I hit the lock. The engine roared. As we sped away, I looked back. The warehouse facade was silent, inert. No flicker, no sign of life. "Did we get it?" Martinez panted. I shook my head. "I don't know, but we're done here for now." The radio crackled. "Backup has arrived on site." I exhaled. Good. But as the warehouse receded in the rearview mirror, its dark windows seemed to watch us go. And I realized we may have escaped, but whatever we chased into the light is still inside, waiting. I press my shoulder into the cruiser door as O'Reilly peels out, tires screeching on asphalt. Martinez slides into the back seat, chest heaving. The tech fumbles with his recorder. still blinking red with the low battery. Dawn is breaking, but none of us feel any safer in daylight. "Hospital," I say, voice raw. "Get checked. I need to see if I'm losing it." O'Reilly nods. "And then?" I swallow. "Then we go back, one last time." 6 hours later, I'm awake in an exam room. Fluorescent lights humming. A nurse checks my vitals. They're normal. Too normal. No adrenaline spike. No sign of trauma. My hands don't shake. My pulse is steady. She frowns when I ask for a blood test for stress hormones. "Doctor's orders," I say. She shrugs and draws vials. O'Reilly and Martinez wait outside. The tech is recharging his devices in the cruiser. I step into the hallway. O'Reilly's pacing. "You sure about this?" he asks. I nod. "We need to finish it. Whatever that thing is, it's tethered to the warehouse. We forced it out once. We can do it again, on our terms." Martinez folds his arms. "And if it kills us?" I meet his gaze. "Then at least we tried. I can't live wondering." At 3 p.m. we gather gear at the precinct yard. Extra batteries, flashlights, cameras, breaching tools. Even a small EMP device the tech rigged to fry circuits in a 10-foot radius. We load into 2 cruisers, O'Reilly driving, me navigating, Martinez and the tech in the second car. We roll toward North Ridge in convoy. The streets are quiet. Mid-afternoon lull. Soon the warehouse looms again, gates open as if expecting us. My gut tightens. We split. O'Reilly and I enter through the main gate. Martinez and tech take the service entrance on the east side. Plan: flush it from 2 directions, converge at the center, deploy EMP, trap whatever remains. I jack open the gate, metal screech that echoes like a scream. We slip inside. The air is cooler here, stale. My breath fogs. I switch on my body cam, its LED glares white. "Stay sharp," I whisper. The forklift sits center yard, forks raised ominously. I sweep past it, heart hammering. The overhead cranes are still, no sway. The security booth stands silent. I step inside, monitors dead. I plug in a handheld thermal imager. The screen shows nothing but ambient heat, until a dark silhouette crosses behind me. I spin, but I'm alone. I tap O'Reilly's earpiece. "Thermals picked up something. Shadow only. Sector B." "Copy," he replies. Footsteps. He's moving. I exit booth and head down aisle 3. The beam of my flashlight cuts through dust. At the end, I see footprints, fresh. I follow into Sector B. The air smells of ozone. My skin pricks. Ahead, the racks part into a small side room, a maintenance alcove. The door is ajar. I nudge it. Inside, tools scattered, floor stained dark. The thermal shows a cold spot on the wall, perfectly rectangular. I run my hand over the dust. There's a hidden panel. I pry it open. Behind, a tangle of wires feeding into the wall. Someone rigged an override, wired into the building's control systems. I pull out my phone's flashlight. Conduit runs up into the ceiling. "Got a feed box," I whisper. "They've been watching us." O'Reilly's voice crackles. "I'm at the crane controls. Nothing happening. You?" "Found their eyes," I say. "We need to destroy this box." I smash it with my flashlight. Sparks fly, wires arc. The lights flicker once, twice, then stabilize. The thermal imager shows the shadow shape convulsing, then vanishing. A distant clang, crane hook scraping. I spin, the hook hangs motionless. Then the entire crane shudders. Steel cables groan. I tap my mic. It's mad. Behind me, the panel I broke reseals itself. Dust drifting back into place. I step back, stunned. No sign of my damage. "Box is intact again," I hear on O'Reilly's channel. My blood runs cold. It's undoing us. We converge at the center aisle. Martinez and the tech appear from the east entrance, breathless. The tech holds the EMP device, small, cylindrical, blinking green. "Ready?" he asks. I nod, on my signal. 3, 2, 1, now. He presses the button. A pulse ripples out. For a heartbeat, every light in the warehouse surges, then dies. The forklift's engine cuts. The crane stops mid-groan. Monitors go black. Silence, thick, absolute. Then the breathing returns, deeper, closer. It surrounds us. The dark shape coalesces at the far end, tall, twisted. It steps forward, limbs elongating, joints bending wrong. Its head splits open in a silent scream. Martinez fires his baton. O'Reilly aims at its chest. My Glock clicks on empty. I forgot to reload. The shape pauses, cocking its head. Then it lunges. We run. The air door we came through is sealed. We're trapped. The shape glides after us, silent. The tech's recorder falls. It cracks. I swing my flashlight. Beam catches the figure's face. Nothing but darkness and reflection. My own terrified eyes staring back. It raises a hand and points at me. My legs give out. I fall. The shop stands over me, breathing mechanical and wet. O'Reilly hauls me up. "Go now!" We scramble through a side door O'Reilly pries open. We spill into daylight, collapsing on the gravel. The warehouse behind us hums, lights pulsing faintly. We crawl to the cruisers. Behind us, the building's silhouette seems to breathe, walls expanding, contracting. Then, all at once, floodlights blaze on. The gates swing open. Backup swarms in, officers shouting, flashlights sweeping. But we don't wait. We climb in, lock doors, and drive off as a unit of squads pour into the yard. As we speed away, I glance back. The warehouse stands silent again, normal, its secrets intact. I check my watch. 7:47 p.m. The sun dips below the horizon. Night returns. The cruiser's headlights cut through the gathering dusk as we sped away, but none of us felt any relief. My chest burned, legs ached, and every joint felt like molten iron. Behind us, the warehouse sat in brooding silence, its windows' dark eyes watching our retreat. I swallowed the lump in my throat and keyed the mic. Unit 42 clear of scene. All support on site. My voice sounded hollow. O'Reilly glanced at me in the rearview mirror. "You holding up?" I forced a nod. We did what we could. Ha. Martinez sat slumped between us, hands shaking. The tech in the back fumbled with his recorder, trying to salvage the last few seconds of audio. I closed my eyes, replaying the final confrontation. The EMP pulse, the lights dying, the thing emerging in the dark, its twisted limbs, that silent scream of metal and breath. At the precinct, we filed one last addendum. Warehouse structural integrity confirmed. No mechanical or electrical anomalies detected post-EMP. Intrusion detection logs show no human access. Recommend facility be decommissioned. We all knew the report would kill any further official inquiry. They'd chalk it up to equipment glitch and overactive imaginations. That night, I went home and collapsed onto my couch, flashlight still in my hand. The beam danced across the ceiling. I stared at the walls, expecting the shadowed shape to step out from behind the TV. When nothing happened, I closed my eyes and drifted into fitful sleep. I woke before dawn to the chime of my phone. A text from Martinez. "We need to talk. Now." My heart thumped. I dressed quickly and met him at a 24-hour coffee shop. He looked pale, haunted. "They found prints," he said, voice trembling. He slid a manila envelope across the table. Inside were photos, close-ups of the EMP device, the maintenance panel, even the forklift's treads. Imprinted in the dust were dozens of tiny footprints, too small for any human boot, and circling our path in perfect rings. Some prints overlapped ours, as if something had walked alongside us, just out of sight. I stared at the images. "What made them?" I whispered. Martinez shook his head. "No idea, but they kept pace with us, even inside the booth." I closed the envelope. It knew every move we'd make. He frowned. I checked the audio logs. After we left, the DVR kicked back on for exactly 90 seconds. It recorded us, our images, our voices. Then it cut again. But there's something else. If you slow it down, the last frame shows someone standing behind the security desk, not us, a figure in uniform, arms crossed. My blood ran cold. The shape? He nodded, but it wasn't twisted. It looked normal, except it smiled. We sat in silence until the sun climbed high. Then I texted O'Reilly, "Meet at my place. Urgent." When he arrived, we laid out the photos, the video stills, the audio waveform. The three of us pored over the evidence. The tech joined us remotely, eyes red from lack of sleep. "I ran a spectral analysis on the breathing," he said. "It's layered. Mechanical hum, animal respiration, and something digital, like a corrupted data stream. It responded to the EMP, but only temporarily. Then it rewrote the circuits." I rubbed my temples. "It's learning." "Worse," the tech said. "It's copying." He held up two prints side by side, one from the warehouse, one from my cruiser's dashboard. The same faint footprint pattern, tiny, inhuman, imprinted in the dust on my dash. I looked down at my shoes. It followed me home. We exchanged grim looks. The thing wasn't confined to the warehouse. It had breached our world. That night, I slept with the lights on. My phone sat on the nightstand, flashlight app ready. Every creak of the apartment sounded like steel on concrete. At 3:33 a.m., I woke to my radio crackling, fed by static, then a whisper, "Why did you leave me behind?" The voice was mine, warped and distant. I bolted upright. The radio fell silent. I reached to turn on the lamp and froze. On the wall, behind the glow of my digital clock, was the outline of a footprint in dust. Tiny, perfectly formed. I grabbed my phone and snapped a photo. The footprint was gone when I looked again, but the image remained, an imprint on my wall, clear as day. My heart thundered. I backed away. The room felt colder. The beam of my phone's flashlight trembled across the floor, and there, in the far corner, I thought I saw it. A dark silhouette, hunched, head cocked, as if studying me. Then it vanished. I screamed, and the radio flared to life. "Stay." The single word echoed, stretched into static, then died. I grabbed my keys and fled into the hallway. The building's corridors were empty, lights humming overhead. Every shadow seemed alive. I reached the stairwell and raced down, 2 steps at a time, until I burst onto the street. Dawn was moments away. The world looked normal. Cars parked, street lamps turning off, mailboxes waiting. But I knew better. Something had followed me out. Now, I sit in a cafe across the street from my apartment, laptop open, coffee growing cold. My hands shake as I type this. I don't know what will happen when I go back. I don't even know if I can go back. The footprints won't wash away. They're etched in dust and memory. And the whisper, my voice calling me home, haunts every silent device I own. Some calls you can't ignore. Some places you can't leave behind. I flicked on my flashlight as I climbed out of the cruiser and onto the cracked asphalt of the old Stanton freight warehouse. The silence hit me first. Thick, oppressive, as if the night itself was holding its breath. My boots crunched over gravel and shattered glass as I made my way toward Dock C, where dispatch said they'd picked up a silent 911 call half an hour ago. No follow-up, no voice, just the chirp of an open line. Wind rattled the metal siding, sending a shiver down my spine. I, of all people, knew that empty warehouses could feel alive after dark. Forklifts left idle for weeks, shadowed catwalks above, unlit corridors hiding every kind of hazard, living or not. My breath fogged in the halo of my flashlight. "Unit 42 here," I said into the radio. No answer. The pulse of static was my only companion. I passed a row of locked service offices, their windows dark, desks littered with yellowing paperwork. One door hung open on rusty hinges, revealing a bank of CCTV monitors. I slipped inside. Only one screen glowed faintly, looping the same 10-second clip. A stretch of corridor lined with empty pallets. The forklift at the end of the hall glowed soft gray. Then, for a moment, its lights blinked on, though its engine was cold. On the next loop, the forklift had shifted a few inches forward. My gut clenched. I spoke into the mic. "Roof crane at Stanton Warehouse, decommissioned weeks ago, is moving on camera. Copy?" Nothing. Radio dark. I thumbed my light across the monitors, scanning the rows of silent screens. Then the lone screen glitched, and for an instant I saw a figure standing just beyond the rack's edge, shoulders hunched, face obscured. I jerked my head around. Empty hallway. I moved out the door, flashlight sweeping low to catch tripwires or debris. Metal racks rose on either side like silent witnesses. A single forklift sat parked, pale tines resting inches from the concrete floor. My heartbeat thudded. I circled it, looking for footprints, scuff marks. None. Just a fresh layer of dust disturbed in a perfect rectangle where the forklift must have rolled forward. A soft thud echoed from above. The roof-mounted crane squealed as its rail mechanism retracted a few feet. I looked up. The spotlight on the crane arm glowed faintly, then died. My flashlight trembled in my grip. "Who's there?" I hissed. No answer but the echo of my own voice. I radioed dispatch again. "Back up to Stanton Warehouse. Possible intruder or equipment malfunction. Proceed with caution." One bar of static, then an uncertain "copy." I followed the catwalk stairs up, each step's grate groaning beneath me. The maze of pipes and cables overhead looked like arteries feeding some mechanical beast. At the mezzanine level, a row of lockers stood against a wall. A security guard's gear strewn on the floor. A baton, a half-eaten sandwich, a badge stamped Ellis. Anxiety coiled in my chest. Ellis had gone missing 2 nights ago, his patrol check-in stopping abruptly at 10:30 p.m. Then I heard the doors at the far end click open. Automatic doors, supposed to be offline after hours. A draft of stale air rushed in, carrying the tang of oil and something else. Coppery, metallic. I trained the beam down the hallway. Nothing moved, yet the faint scraping of metal on concrete persisted, drawing me closer. I switched to night vision on my flashlight. The world turned emerald green, the racks and forklift ghostly in the glow. At the corridor's end, the automatic door swung shut, but not before a dark shape slipped inside. I froze, breath suspended. A whisper of movement, footsteps, soft but deliberate, trailing me. "Stand down," I muttered to myself, voice tight. I raised the flashlight and stepped forward, radio forgotten in my pocket. The beam caught something strapped to the wall, a handheld intercom. I pressed the talk button. "Ellis, if you're here, respond." No crackle. Then, 10-4, a voice hissed through, hollow. My blood turned to ice. "You're late." Heart pounding, I spun around, empty air. My hand went to my holster as I edged back. "Identify yourself," I said, voice steadier than I felt. Silence answered, then the intercom spat static. A heartbeat later, the voice came again, clipped. "Shut the door." I glanced up. A door I hadn't noticed before, a heavy sliding steel door at the end of a side corridor, was starting to close at a crawl. I sprinted for it, slamming my shoulder against the metal. It resisted, inching down with creaking hydraulics. My fingers slid under the edge as I shoved. The metal cut a thin scrape across my glove. With a final heave, the door jammed. I ducked inside a small machinery alcove as it slammed fully shut, shaking the walls. Darkness swallowed me. My own breathing thundered in my ears. I could feel the door vibrating with some unseen force on the other side. I fumbled for my radio. "Unit 42 to dispatch. Possible containment malfunction. Trapped in machinery room. Need immediate assistance." Belt clipped the radio, shaking. "Come in." Only static. Through the slot above the door, a thin sliver of green night vision glow leaked into the cubby. A pair of boots walked past. Heavy, worn, one toe scuffed, dragging slightly. The boots paused. I held my breath. A shadow fell across the slot. A long, pale arm reached in, hook-like fingertips tapping the metal frame. A voice, low and raspy. "Don't move." My throat went dry. I pressed my back to the wall, sliding down until my legs curled beneath me. The tapping stopped. I waited. Seconds stretched into an eternity. Then the door rattled, as if something large was pressing against it, and a whisper, "Open up." I swallowed, mouth so dry I could feel every crack. My hand hovered over my holster. My mind screamed for backup, for light, for safety. Instead, the warehouse whispered back, "You should have stayed in your car." Silence returned, deeper than before. No footsteps, no tapping. Just the hum of distant machinery and the echo of my own heartbeat. I knew I couldn't stay hidden forever. I had to make a choice. Stay locked in until dawn, or face whatever was outside. My radio finally crackled. "Unit 42, status." Relief and dread collided. I swallowed. I'm pinned in machinery room. Someone's here. They know my name." The response was urgent but vague. "Help is en route. Stay put." As I sat in the dark, the warehouse seemed to lean in around me. I realized that every sound, the drip of water, the creak of metal, the hum of failing lights, listed secrets in my ear, and somewhere beyond that sealed door, someone was waiting to tell them all. I've got 5 minutes before backup arrives. 5 minutes to decide if I'm ready to step back into the shadows. The door's rattling stopped, but I know whatever's out there didn't leave. The hum of the warehouse machinery is muted now, as if the building itself is holding its breath. My flashlight beam trembles across the steel walls of the alcove, illuminating dripping pipes and dusty control panels. Every drop of water echoes, a countdown in my ears. 5 minutes until backup, but who knows what will happen in that time. I force myself to breathe slowly, in through the nose, out through the mouth, counting each breath. My hand tightens on the flashlight. The intercom lies dead on the floor, static my only companion. I glance at my watch, 2:48 a.m. The moonlight filtering through high windows is weak, patching pale rectangles on the concrete floor outside the alcove. Every flicker of that light feels like an eye watching me. A distant clang makes my heart jump. A metal door swinging somewhere down the corridor. Not the machinery room door I'm behind, but another. Maybe the forklift bay? I slide to my feet, edging toward the sliver of light under the door. My ear presses to the cold metal. Silence. Then, faintly, the sound of dragging, something heavy being pulled across the floor. I bite back a curse. It couldn't be the wind. The racks are bolted to the ground. Whatever it is, it's coming closer. My mind flashes back to the security logs. Ellis never made it past the mezzanine. What if he's out there, or what's become of him? I grip my torch tighter and stand ready. Another scrape, and then the door shakes as if something slams against it from the other side. My flashlight flickers. For a heartbeat, I see a shape beyond the door, a tall silhouette, limbs elongated in the green-tinged glow. Then darkness again. My gut twists. I raise the beam and fire a warning. "This is Officer Kane. Back off." My voice sounds small, swallowed by the cavernous space. No answer, only the echo of my own words. The door vibrates once more, a low groan that feels like a challenge. I press my back harder against the opposite wall, trying to put distance between me and whatever is out there. My radio crackles. "Unit 42, you copy?" Relief floods me. "Dispatch." I copy, I whisper. "I'm in the machinery room. Something's at the door." "Hold tight," came the reply. "Ite 2 minutes." 2 minutes, 60 seconds of dread, and then 60 more. Time stretches. I check my magazine. 6 rounds. I don't want to fire. I don't know what I'd hit. But if that door bursts in, I have to be ready. My flashlight illuminates a control panel with emergency release levers. I glance at them. One might open the door from inside, but the labels are worn. If I trigger that, I could expose myself. Still, I make a mental note. If the door gives way, I yank that lever and push through. Another scrape, louder now, followed by a muffled thud, like a fist hitting steel. I grit my teeth. Every instinct screams to run, but I can't leave this alcove until backup arrives. I wedge my shoulder against the wall and angle the flashlight's beam through the narrow slot. Nothing, just the empty corridor beyond, racks stretching into the gloom. Then movement, a hand. Pale, knuckled, sliding slowly down the door's surface. The fingers tap, slow and deliberate, sending tiny vibrations through the metal. My breath catches. I swallow, mouth dry. I remember Ellis's face on the missing poster. Late 20s, dark hair, easy smile. Now, I wonder if that face is still intact, or if whatever's out here wears it like a mask. The tapping grows firmer, as if the thing outside is testing the door's strength. My pulse hammers. I raise the flashlight, ready to blind whoever comes in. The metal creaks, the latch strains. I lift my free hand, hover over the release lever. I count down in my head. 5, 4, 3. At 2, the door shudders violently. Splinters of paint rain down. At 1, I yank the lever, and the door screeches upward, metal grinding. I step forward, flashlight stabbing into the corridor, empty. The doors fully open, revealing the long aisle of racks. No figure, no footprints. Only the dull sheen of dust, disturbed in a half circle before the door. My beam sweeps left and right. The forklifts are silent, motionless. The catwalk above is empty, the crane still. My knees tremble. I step out, every sense on high alert. The corridor stretches away into darkness. I inch forward, scanning the floor for tracks. Nothing. Then I notice a smear of dark fluid on the concrete, thin, rust-colored. I crouch. It's oil or blood, hard to tell in the green glow. It leads toward the next corridor junction. Radio in hand, I whisper, "I'm moving out." I see a trail, possible injury. Pause. Proceeding to intercept. No answer. Static. Backup must be caught in traffic. I curse under my breath. I follow the smear, boots careful around sharp metal shards. Around the corner, I find a toppled rack. Boxes strewn, packing foam littering the floor. The forklift keys lie crushed beneath a box. The oil trail deepens. I lift a crate edge. Inside, torn packaging and a smear of red. This was no accident. Someone, or something, was dragged through here. My shoulder scrapes against the rack as I stand. A faint clicking from above. I snap my light upward. The catwalk rail is empty, but for a single footprint pressed into dust. Size large. Boot tread unknown. It leads to a ladder climbing up to the catwalk. I climb, flashlight in teeth, hand on the ladder rails. At the top, the walkway stretches into deeper shadow. I approach the camera control box, its lens cracked, wires severed. The camera's red recording light blinks once, then dies. I press my palm to the box. It's warm, recently active. Someone rigged it to watch me. Or they were watching something else and I walked into their frame. A soft scuff behind me. I whirl. Nothing. The beam lands on the far end of the catwalk where a door stands ajar. Light seeps out, white, sickly. I move toward it, each step echoing. The door opens into a small office. Maps tacked on corkboards. Shift schedules pinned. A lone chair overturned. The desk drawer lies open, files scattered. I scan the files, employee logs, maintenance orders, and a photograph taped to the underside of the drawer. Ellis, smiling, arm around another officer. Scrawled on the back, "He never left." My blood runs cold. I pocket the photo. Behind me, the door clicks. I spin. A silhouette stands in the frame, tall, shoulders hunched. My flashlight flickers. For a second, the figure is clear. Uniform unzipped. Face hidden in shadow. Hands stained dark. Then the beam jitters, and the figure vanishes. I run, heart in my throat, back down the ladder, across the catwalk. The warehouse yawns beneath me. The forklift horns blare. 6 of them in sequence, low and mournful. The lights flicker, plunging me into strobing half-darkness. I skid to a stop, blinded momentarily. When the lights stabilize, the figure is at the far end of the aisle, standing where the oil trail began. It tilts its head as if studying me. I raise my flashlight, voice shaking. "Freeze! Police!" The figure doesn't move, it just watches. I radio again. I have a visual. Suspect is non-compliant. Request immediate assistance. My call echoes no response. Behind me, the door to the machinery room slams shut on its own, and the intercom crackles to life. "You can't leave." The voice is Ellis's, panicked, broken. Or something mimicking him. My chest tightens. I step back, but my boot catches on debris. I stumble, drop the radio. The figure glides closer, silent. I scramble for my weapon. My hand closes on cold metal. I train the barrel. The figure stops, inches away. Its face resolves into something half-human. Ellis's features stretched, eyes empty. I swallow. "Ellis?" My voice barely a whisper. The figure's lips part, no sound. Then it raises a hand and points down the corridor. I follow its finger with my eyes. At the far wall, words scratched deep into metal. "Stay." The warehouse lights snap off entirely. My flashlight flickers once and goes dark. I'm swallowed by pitch black. Silence, then the soft drip of water. My breathing roars. I fumble for my radio and flashlight in my pocket. The beam comes on, steady white this time, illuminating the figure at my side. Its face is gone, replaced by a void. "Run," it whispers. My own voice, warped. I turn and sprint toward the machinery room door, hands sliding over racks to guide me. The floor tilts beneath me, warehouse corridors twisting impossibly. Forklifts block my path, then vanish. The air grows colder, heavier. My flashlight beam catches a shape at every turn. A guard's helmet, a dropped baton, a smear of that dark fluid. Then I burst through the machinery room door, slamming it behind me. The alcove is empty once more. The hum of machinery returns, normal, benign. My chest heaves. I check my watch, 3 minutes until backup. 3 minutes in this tomb of steel. I lean against the wall, pressing the flashlight to the door slot. Nothing moves outside. The racks stand silent. The crane is still. The intercom crackles. Why run? The voice is calm now, almost curious. I close my eyes, my world narrowed to the alcove, the door, the distant promise of rescue. The warehouse waits. Shadows pool. Every second stretches. I realize that however real backup may be, whatever is out there isn't bound by time or doors. I slip sideways along the alcove wall, listening. The intercom's last words, "Why run?" hang in the stale air. My flashlight beam dances across the control panels. Backup's ETA less than 2 minutes. But time stretches here. Every second feels like a lifetime in this place. I press my back to the cold metal door, inhale, then push it open just enough to slip out. The corridor's quiet, too quiet. My boots make no sound on the dust-coated floor. I peer left. Rows of racks disappear into darkness. Right, toward the forklift bay. I choose right, following the faint glow of emergency exit lights overhead. Halfway there, a soft, mechanical whine makes me freeze. The decommissioned roof crane above stirs, its arm swinging slow and deliberate. My flashlight catches the hook dangling, swaying like a pendulum. My stomach clenches. I duck under the nearest rack as the hook creaks on its rail. The crane wasn't supposed to be powered. Whoever reactivated it is still here. I slip along the rack supports, hugging the shadows. At the bay's entrance, the concrete floor is slick with that dark fluid. Blood or oil, I still can't tell. It pools near the wall, reflecting the emergency light in sickly ripples. I step carefully, leaving faint boot prints behind. The forklift controls sit idle, but its horn, 6 notes, low and mournful, echo through the bay, as if triggered by my presence. I don't dare look for the source. Ahead, the bay's large roll-up door stands closed. Beyond it, pale pre-dawn light seeps in around its edges. My path to freedom, or so I think. I reach the door's manual release. The lever is stiff. I yank it down. Gears grind. The door inches upward, revealing overgrown yard beyond. Tangled grass waving in a chill breeze. I glimpse a gravel road and the silhouette of my patrol car parked where I left it. License plate dusty but unchanged. Relief surges. I push harder, but the door grinds to a halt 3 feet up. The chain has slipped off its sprocket. I curse and yank at the chain. It's stiff, rusted. Behind me, the bay's lights flicker. I whirl. The forklift sits at the center of the bay, headlights blazing, engine idling though no one's at the controls. Its horn booms twice, then silence. My radio crackles. Unit 42, this is dispatch. Backup is 2 minutes out. Do you copy? I click the mic. Copy. I'm at the bay door, attempting exit. Roger, hold position. I swallow and step forward, hand on my holster. The forklift horn blares again, low and insistent. I skirt around it, toward the car. The gravel outside beckons. I reach the door's edge, 3 feet of steel between me and open air. I consider climbing, but my flashlight illuminates footprints on the door's inner surface. Muddy boot treads climbing the steel. Someone, or something, has been watching this exit, ready to close it. I glance back into the bay. The forklift seat is empty, but its forks lift, slow as a waking beast, cutting a silhouette against the dawn light. I back away, heart hammering. The bay door shudders, then begins to lower. Panic spikes. I sprint sideways to the release chain, but the chain is out of reach, the sprocket mocking me overhead. The door slams down with a thunderous clang, plunging me into semi-darkness. Dust and gravel rain from the edges. I press against the metal, trying to hold it, but it's too heavy. It pins my shoulder. Pain flares. I grit my teeth. The forklift horn sounds again, directly behind me. I spin with my flashlight raised. Nothing but the forklift's looming form. Its engine idles, exhaust whispering. Then, on the seat, a security badge. Ellis. I stare. The badge is warm, as if freshly placed. My breath hitches. I reach out, trembling, and touch it. The metal is slick with fluid. A voice hisses in my ear, so close I feel breath on my neck. Why did you leave me? I whirl, empty space. The forklift's horn blares one final note. Agonized, broken. The bay door rattles above me. I wrench myself free and backpedal, elbowing the door release. The lever snaps up. The door bucks, then lifts with a screech. I dash through into the yard. Dawn light sharpens. The gravel road stretches toward a 2-lane highway. My cruiser's headlights glare like welcoming eyes. I leap in, slam the door, and hit the lock. The engine roars. Tires spin on gravel. I peel out, heading toward safety. But as I speed away, I glance in the rearview mirror. The warehouse stands silent. Its bay door closed behind me. No movement, no sign of Ellis or the figure, just the hulking silhouette of steel and shadow. On my dash, the intercom lies where it fell. Its speaker grill is cracked. I pick it up, static, then a whisper. I'm still inside. My blood turns to ice. I swallow hard, press the accelerator. The road ahead is empty. Behind me, the warehouse recedes, but the whispering follows, carried on the wind through the open window. And in my mind, one question echoes. How do you outrun something that's already under your skin? I tore down the highway at 70, the cruiser's tires whining like a wounded animal beneath me. Dawn was spilling pale light across the asphalt, but it did nothing to chase the darkness clinging to my mind. My hands shook on the wheel. Behind me, the Stanton freight warehouse receded into a jagged silhouette, steel bones against the sky. Yet I felt its weight pressing through the seat, a cold presence riding shotgun. My radio lay forgotten on the passenger seat. Static, still crackling from the intercom whisper, I'm still inside. I glanced over, half expecting to see that hollow-eyed figure framed in the glass. There was only the rising sun and the empty road. I swallowed hard. Had I imagined the voice, or had I carried it out of that place? Traffic light turned green. I crossed the intersection into the precinct's parking lot. My heart hammered as I killed the engine and sat in silence. Blue and red lights danced on the asphalt from the security cameras above. I reached for the intercom and keyed it. Nothing. I pressed again. A minute pop of static, then dispatch. Unit 42, are you all right? The voice was flat, professional. No trace of concern. I cleared my throat. I'm here. I need to file a report. Stanton Warehouse. Equipment malfunction, possible suspect. Copy that. Come inside. I climbed out, every step tentative. The station lobby was empty, the glow of fluorescent panels humming overhead. A clerk at the front desk looked up with polite curiosity as I approached. Officer Kane, he said. We got your call. Filling out paperwork? I nodded, voice tight. Yes, and I need to talk to Lieutenant Morales if she's in. He radioed down the hall. The clerk glanced at me, eyebrows raised, as though he sensed I was only half here. She'll see you in her office. I stepped into the corridor. The air smelled of coffee and old vinyl chairs. It should have felt safe, normal, but my skin prickled. The walls seemed to flex, breathing with the memory of that warehouse. Each distant shout or ringing phone made me jump. I wondered how long it would take for trauma protocol to kick in. I needed answers, not a shrink. I needed to know if anyone else saw what I saw. Lieutenant Morales' door swung open before I reached it. She was mid-40s, salt and pepper hair pulled back, eyes sharp. "Kane," she said. "Heard you had a rough call. Sit down." I lowered into the chair across from her, boots scuffed and dusty. She studied me. "Start at the top." I inhaled and explained. The silent 911 call, the dead depot, the moving crane, the CCTV glitch, the figure in the feed, the catwalk chase, the machinery room hideout, the whispering voice, and finally the bay door trap and the smear of fluid. I watched her face. She didn't interrupt. When I finished, the room was still except for the ticking of a wall clock. She leaned back, arms crossed. No record of any other units at Stanton. Your backup call wasn't logged until you were already back on the road. My chest tightened. "What do you mean?" I called them in the alcove. Radio crackled. She tapped a file. "Dispatch logs show your unit calling at 3:02 a.m., reporting you were clear. No emergency, no follow-up." Her eyes bored into mine. "You were there alone." I swallowed. "But I saw—" "You heard," she corrected gently. "Kane, you've been out on graveyard shifts for 12 hours straight. You hit the warehouse, then you drove nearly 20 miles before you radioed. In that time, anything could have happened." I shook my head. I know what I saw. She sighed. "We'll send another unit out to Stanton today, sweep the site. But you need to rest, get some sleep, then we'll review the camera logs from the exterior, see if anything matches." I stood. "Thank you, Lieutenant." Outside her office, I pressed my back to the wall, sliding down until I sat on the floor. The corridor lights blurred, my head pounded. Had I really been alone? Or was someone, or something, erasing its tracks? The badge in my pocket burned cold against my leg. Ellis's photo taped to the drawer. I pulled it out. His vacant smile stared up at me. "He never left," the scrawl said. I stuffed the photo into my jacket and headed for the locker room. Every footstep echoed. A janitor wheeled a cart past, eyes wary. I nodded. He hurried on. The station felt unnatural, too still. My locker door squeaked as I opened it to stash my gear. Inside, taped to the back, was another photo. Me, standing in the alcove, flashlight raised. Behind me, in the grainy green night vision glow, the figure stood, just as clear as day. My breath caught. I hadn't taken that photo, my camera's SD card. It was on my belt. I pulled it free, heart slamming, and flicked open the slot. The card lay empty, no photos. I blinked, stomach lurching. Someone had taken the image. Or something. The overhead lights flickered. I slammed the locker door shut and hurried to dispatch to check the records. The corridor stretched unnaturally long, and my footsteps sounded distant. I tried the doorknob, locked. My radio slipped from my pocket, skittering across the floor, static crackling. I bent to pick it up and froze. On the small display, a recorded message played on loop, my voice whispering, "You can't leave." My skin crawled. I pressed stop. Silence. I pressed play again. "You can't leave." Over and over. I dropped it. It bounced, static spraying. I bolted for the door, only to find it jammed. Pushed, pulled, it wouldn't budge. My pulse thundered. Behind me, the lights dimmed. The air turned chill. I spun. At the far end of the hall, a figure emerged from the shadows. Tall, uniform hanging loose, face unseen. Footsteps echoed slow, deliberate. I fumbled for my sidearm. My gloves were gone, just bare hands shaking on the grip. "Officer Kane," the voice came. My voice, distorted, dripping through the corridor speakers. "You should have stayed in your car." My heart stalled. I raised the weapon, finger trembling. The figure stopped. Light flickered, revealing the hollow sockets where eyes should be. mouth hung open in a silent scream. Then it tilted its head and vanished, melting into the wall like smoke. I stumbled back, chest heaving, and the lights snapped off. The hall erupted in darkness. My radio hissed to life. "Unit 42, status?" A hint of panic in dispatch's tone. I pounded the side of the door. I can't get out. There's someone here." Silence, then. "Stay calm. We're sending help." I dropped to the floor, pressed against the door, flashlight useless in my hand. The building groaned. My breathing thundered. Minutes stretched. Then, far away, I heard shouting. Boots on concrete. Relief washed over me. I shouted back. The lights flickered on. The corridor was empty. The door clicked and swung open. 2 officers burst in, guns drawn. I threw myself into their arms, voice breaking. "It's here. It followed me." They guided me out. Behind us, the station entrance doors swayed. I glanced back. In the reflection of the glass, someone stood, an outline with empty eyes, watching. Then it faded. They told me I was safe. I wasn't convinced. As they led me outside, I saw my cruiser parked under a street lamp. On the windshield, scrawled in dust, "See you soon." I swallowed hard. The morning air felt sharp. They put me in a patrol SUV to take me home. As we drove away, I stared at the rearview mirror. The warehouse wasn't in sight, but I felt its gaze. I reached into my pocket and pulled out the intercom piece. No static now, just a cold plastic shell. I tucked it back. Behind me, the city stirred awake. But I knew the darkness was not confined to abandoned depots. It had crossed into the light. It was inside me now, waiting for the next silent call. And I wondered, when the next 911 alert comes in, will I answer? Or will I run and bring it with me again?